And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting here live from NGC Studios here in South Florida. And let me turn down the volume a little bit here on my mic. Okay, I don't think that should peak so much. Hopefully that's a little better for you guys watching. Anyway, folks, like I said, I am here broadcasting live. So, anyway, thank you for joining me for, admittedly, this late show. Usually we start around 10 o'clock, but I actually had to do updates to my computer and and to OBS, and I actually had to like uninstall and reinstall OBS, but it is what it is. And rebuild this whole layout. So, but we're here. So, anyway, contact info as usual. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at somebody_NGC, at Gab and Parlor, on Gab and Parlor at Sam Whitfield, Facebook.com/The Whitfield Report, and thesamwhitfield.com is my website. Also, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also we are multi-streaming on DLive and Periscope. Quick shout out, real quick, to those in the chats on. Well, I don't know if we have anyone on DLive yet, but I know Fat Cake Boy is one of the mods, so I'm sure that he'll pop in eventually. And then on YouTube, so far we have Shovel Point, One Step Too Far, and Evil Eric, who says he's hard. Which of course you are, Eric. When are you not hard? And then Warfist. And co-hosting this show tonight, we have the Alpha among Gammas, Apex Gamma, joining me for the show, and we have a bevy of topics to cover, one of which might get me banned off YouTube permanently. But you know what? I'm hidden in the subfeed now, so I don't really care what YouTube's Chinese overlords, think of this show. But first thing I wanted to cover, first off, how are you doing tonight, Apex?
I am driving my stick shift, both with the steering wheel and the shifter with just my left hand, and I'm holding my phone in my right hand. So I'm feeling quite ambidextrous at this moment, to be honest with you. But I'm good, man. I'm happy to be on the show with you again. It's been a while.
Yeah,
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Apart from the fact that earlier this afternoon, I got into an argument with someone on Facebook, an old classmate of mine who I haven't spoken to in 8 years, since high school graduation. And this is a chick,
Uh-oh. I can see where this is going. Go ahead, sorry.
Who immediately decided, so she posted on Facebook today that on her status that she is disgusted by white people, and that she, that she's ashamed to be white herself, and that, we need to do better to treat black people in this country and help poor, impoverished black people. Now, this chick, so just to give you guys background, the area in which I went to high school, so I grew up in an area of, in a suburb of Denver, Colorado called Centennial, and Centennial is like pretty, like middle class to solid, like, upper middle class to upper class. So the high school I went to, which was Cherokee High School, it's a public high school, but we have a lot of kids from well-to-do families. And this girl in particular was one of these debutante type uh, kids. So, which I don't have anything against, people who are wealthy or in the upper class. To be clear, I have a bunch of friends who could be considered trust fund kids, but have also used their trust fund money to like build, businesses and become entrepreneurs, and whatnot. But that's a whole another show, perhaps, maybe.
Can I
Um,
pause you for just a second, Sammy? I think it's really adorable that you just took the time to say that you don't hate rich people. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I think, well, I mean, I think it's ridiculous that we have to even say that now, but,
Well, I think it's ridiculous that we have to say that about anybody. I mean, rich
right.
people, black people, white people, Mexicans, poor people, Democrats, Republicans.
Well,
It's across the board at this point. But I'm
well,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
no, I understand. Part of the reason why I say that, though, is because I can totally hear my critics saying, oh, you just hate her because she's a rich girl, and it's like, no, not at all. What I do hate though is hypocritical rich people who, and this is kind of the point. So I asked her, I said, well, I agree that there are some black people who have had it really rough, um, and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, police brutality can be a problem. And I asked, what have all I asked was, what have you done to help poor impoverished black people? Um
Shame on you. Shame on
I
you,
I
Sam. How could you ask such a thing? She
I
was trying to shame you. You can't turn the tables, dude. That's not how that works.
well, apparently that's what I did, because next thing I know, the frickin' messenger app is blowing up on my phone, and she goes, "Oh, well, you've always been a right wing, conservative nutball, and I bet you still have that stupid show that you've always had since high school." Which, yes, folks, that is how long I've been doing this. I've had this show since before high school, actually. But I said, nice to hear from you too after 8 years. I said, yes, the show has actually far surpassed what even I thought it would be, in high school. And also, I was just simply asking you, and she's like, I'm surprised you don't work for Ben Shapiro, who's an anti-Semite, which, okay, that in and of itself is hilarious. And I don't think she was. The thing about this chick is, I know her well enough to know that she wasn't joking. Like, she seriously thinks that Ben Shapiro is an anti-Semite, which, like, honestly, that's why I don't hate Ben Shapiro as much as like some other people do, or people even in this audience dislike Ben Shapiro, because like there are legitimate leftists who think that he is an anti-Semite. So yeah, I don't know. Um, it's ridiculous. But anyway, I just continue to ask her, like, again, what have you done to, help Black lives? And she's like, well, I'm an activist. And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean shit.
So the answer to the question is nothing, right? I mean,
Right.
effectively, that's the conclusion you came to, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And Meanwhile, she wants to continue to, label me, and she mentioned like a couple other people that we went to high school with. She listed me off, and basically they're all conservative, and I just thought to myself, this is the real problem in this country, that we can't look at each other as like human beings anymore, people who just merely disagree with each other. We have to fucking, demonize.
Well, now, see, Sammy, I mean, I have to agree and disagree with you, because what you're experiencing with this old high school cohort, or schoolmate, however you want to call it, in your, however you young whippersnappers refer to him these days. Um, what you're experiencing with her is what I have been dealing with for months now.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it's really, really specifically since George Floyd died. My oldest friend in the world, talking 22 years now at this point, who is a retard. But I am too. But I didn't realize how far opposite retarded we were, because he makes the most pinnacle of what you could call leftist arguments. And look, he's not stupid. This person is not stupid. I say stupid, but he's not stupid. He's dumb, but he's not brain dead. He's just, I can't make bridging this gap with these political topics is impossible with him. But the only difference is at the end of him calling me a racist piece of shit, and me calling him a fucking idiot, faggot, retard, whatever, NPC, and any other hateful thing I can think of at the time, the conversation always ends with "Love you, bro. Talk to you tomorrow," or something like that, because we are still friends. But most people don't have that. Like you and the friend you refer, the high school classmate that you were referring to, you guys didn't have that. You started off on opposite ends. So now, even though you have some common ground, you went to school in the same school, you grew up in the same part of the country, you had the same friends. Ultimately,
Yeah.
that bridge will never be gapped. It would be from I mean, not even necessarily from you, but hypothetically from the right side of the aisle at this point in history. The bridge would be gapped from your side, this side, 100 times before it would ever even be attempted from the other side, because they're convinced that that what we have to say is propaganda, and it's clever propaganda meant to trick them, and meant to assuage their baser instincts away from love and harmony, and all the other bullshit edicts that leftists prance around and preach. And you know what? He's got a newborn baby, and he's only been married for a few years, and he's younger than me, not much younger than me, but he's in his 30s. And one of the arguments that has really snapped him back recently, anyway, is borders and immigration and shit like that. And he's talking about, why can't people just be free? Why can't they just? This is all of our planet. This the typical leftist fucking tree hugging bullshit. Like, okay, you fucking retard. So you got a fence in your yard, don't you? Oh yeah, this house that your parents just helped you buy in the oil company that you work for, that they also own. You fucking rich white piece of shit. But that's a joke. But the fence around your yard, you're gonna take that down, right? And when you go into your bed at night with your wife and your newborn baby, you're not only gonna not lock your doors, you're gonna take those doors down, because there's other places other beings could sleep in your domicile, that it's out of the rain, that's out of the wind, that's out of the sun. Well, no, of course I'm not going to do that. I've got a fucking Sig Sauer. I'll fucking put a bullet in a motherfucker. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Which is it? I mean, free borders for all. Well, no, it's my property. Oh, so this isn't America's property? So it's an endless cyclical argument. And it's all, my real issue is I'm not good at debate, especially with people I care about. So he always ends up throwing in some kind of straw man that I'll latch onto, and it trails the fucking argument way away from what we were talking about, and we never land anywhere.
The,
But he's convinced that everything I believe is a lie, what I believe about crime statistics are a lie. He can pull me up 1 year and show me that a certain race outdid another race in certain crimes. But when I bring up, okay, well, let's look at the last 30 years, you idiot. Oh, well, why do you think those last 30 years in this certain group of people have been? Well, because the crack epidemic, which was perpetrated by the white man and the American government. So you will not win. You will not win, which is why so many people that aren't like hardcore in any political sense are becoming so on the more right side of the spectrum.
Well,
I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry. I've been talking for too long.
oh no, all I was gonna say is, well, to your point, Apex, like I'm not good at debate either. Like the way I do things is I mainly just try and have like a conversation with people like we're having on this podcast. And like, generally what will happen, like I will say this too, I think sometimes demographics, I think sometimes like not necessarily demographics like in terms of people, but demographics in terms of like locations, change too. Because I will tell you that like there are people who are liberal out there, and I do differentiate between liberal and leftist because there are liberals out there who chat with, and um you know we may disagree, but we agree to disagree and like still be civil with each other and like have a conversation. um you know so that's one thing. But then also like to my point and to your point about these two rich friends, like for me, this chick that I knew, like when we were in high school, like she always had, I guess, well, she was mainly apolitical, but I could tell that she tended to be more liberal, but she wasn't that bad. It seems like she went to college, paid $60,000 or $80,000, however much CU was, and got stupider actually instead of smarter. So, and I mean that's all another thing with
Well,
colleges
that's
too.
yeah, dude. That's a good point. That's actually, well, we'll use that as a decent segue into part of the reason you were so late on top of your debates and stuff is because I just wouldn't shut the fuck up about this research into the Chinese Communist Party that I've been doing and their tendrils and how far they reach into every fucking American institution that exists, like literally all of them, but especially education, higher education in the colleges. And it's amazing how difficult it is to do research on some of this stuff. You can almost more easily find info on fucking Ghislaine Maxwell and goddamn Jeff Epstein than you can shit on what the CCP is actually doing. With their Uyghurs and the Falun Gong and the shit going on with their fucking the almost every province in the entire like continent of China is under flood warning. Which I kind of wonder if HARP and weather warfare just isn't being ramped up by the Donald Trump administration, just burying China under floods. But yeah, the education institutions, the leftist doctrine that's permeated for decades now. I mean, I won't go as far as to say that it can all be linked back to the Chinese communist regime, but what I find most fascinating is the more research I do, the things that have been claimed of Russia most prominently over the last 4 years. China has admitted. Not only do they admit, they have literal military branches dedicated to like internet misinformation and warfare.
Oh
Their
yeah.
their three warfares doctrine, and their this shit it's out there. Like they're at war with not just the United States, but the fucking world. They have been at Cold War since we gave them the ability to do so. Hey, guess what, China? We're not gonna we're gonna give you free markets. We're just gonna hope that giving you all this shit will bring you out of your evil communist, you know, anti-human fucking ways, and you'll come into the light because sure, that's inevitable, right? You know, give people freedom and freedom will reign. Well, no, that's not the case. And, you know, that's what really freaks me out is, you know, we've been talking about, well, I say we, but people in general have been talking about the education, the college education system and the left leaning. I mean, even like Jordan Peterson, say what you will about him, but that man is as leftist as a man can be. But even he found himself so repulsed by the direction things were going years ago that he became fucking world famous by standing up to what his own side of the aisle was doing, you know?
Well, well,
And
well,
go
that
ahead.
well, that's like the same thing with with Joe Rogan too. You know, like liberals like 10, 15 years ago were just like, hey, like I want to, smoke pot and, but like I want to leave people alone and, like like guns are kind of cool if people want to like own them, like, like Rogan still says that he's, a liberal, but the thing is Rogan is not a liberal anymore, like
Not in today's terms. No, he's not.
and
He's
and
not.
and I think he's finally come to recognize that. So I
Well,
mean,
and Jordan Peterson did too, because I was, you know, I watched him back in the day. I was, you know, one of the millions of people that was, you know, somewhat of a fan of his. I didn't watch every single thing, but yeah, I watched when he would post a debate or if something would pop up on YouTube. But back in the early days, he fought hard against that alt right and the right conservative leaning thing. He pushed hard against it. But then I don't remember how far into it, but eventually I think it was during one of the debates with Sam Harris, he flat out said, he's like, you're leftist minded and I am much more conservative, that's the first and only time I recall him ever saying that. Dude, I'm so far removed from fucking Jordan Peterson. I don't even know why I'm bringing him up. I use him as an example, as to like somebody who's entrenched in academia and is very much like part of that mindset that was even he was like, well, wait a minute, this isn't good. This is
yeah.
gonna no, this is bad things are gonna happen here because we're gonna push everybody that's on the fringes in both directions off the edge, which is what we're seeing right now. That's exactly what we're seeing, in my opinion.
It's funny too because I saw on Twitter there was some like feminist basically like a purple haired feminist dyke out there who was for some reason railing against Hugh Hefner, even though he's been dead for like 3 years now. And I don't know why she was doing it, but she said that Hugh Hefner was basically now a right wing, like misogynist. Why? Because when he founded Playboy, one of his edicts was free speech. And I just thought to myself, well, yeah, that was one of his edicts, was censorship and, was anti censorship and free speech. So now, like the pro free speech liberals out there are all now right wingers. Congratulations, guys! You're one of us now.
Yeah,
So
you know, that's really fun. That's really funny because my whole life growing up, which seems like ancient history at this point, but the Liberal Party were the ones that were like fervently free speech. It was the conservatives, it was the Christian right that demonized Slayer and death metal and
yeah,
called it all satanic and talked of the you know and literally tried to censor speech. And it was the liberals when I was growing up that were like, the Democrats were like, no, 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 speech needs to be free, and we need to beat that bad speech with good speech. That's how I grew up, and I
Yeah.
grew up deep fucking south, bro. Like as as red as it can get, but you know, I still wasn't secluded from alternate ideas. But I want to pause this political talk just for a moment because One Step in the chat has tagged us on Twitter on a new video, and he's curious about our commentary. I'm curious what your take on doing that would be.
I am also open to doing that, and I will pull that up. I do want to bring up the fact. Speaking of Owen Benjamin, because this has been one of my theories too. Uh, you know, I think there are lots of like fake. I think it's interesting that you bring up the religious right as kind of being anti-free speech because unfortunately now I am seeing a lot of like the religious right people, not like the Billy Graham type people, but like the hardcore religious right, like allying themselves with the SJW leftists. And I would certainly put Owen Benjamin as like the far religious right. And I know he watches these streams, and I know that it annoys the hell out of him when I say that he's still a leftist, but hi Owen, you are. So um so let me see if
Dude, if we're gonna go down the Owen Benjamin rat hole, fucking Digital Jonestown, Milker Nation's backup, just posted a video. Hold on, let me get this up here because I can't even believe it. It's titled Wearing a Mask is Actually Effective and Respectful. And it is a screen, like the thumbnail is Owen wearing a fucking mask. So now I'm assuming Owen is now telling his bears that wearing a mask is good, just like the government.
which part of the reason he did that was because he watched Semper Reloaded, probably because he watches all of our channels, even the smaller channels, like me, who say stuff and then he'll contradict us. So um,
Mm.
I know this because um he I did a show on Rush Limbaugh, and then the very next day Owen was trashing Rush on stream. But let me open up Twatter here. So
Dead air. Hey, you want to hear a funny story, Sam? Can you hear me?
yeah,
Did I mute myself?
I am yeah, I am always
Okay.
up for hearing a funny story.
While you do what you're doing, I'm gonna tell you this quick story I thought was really funny today. Um, my 10-year-old, who's the eldest, she she came to me and she's been gone all month at other family. She spent the month of July at other family's house and stuff. She came back today just for part of the day in between grandparents' houses. We were playing Yahtzee and just playing games, whatever. And she says, I found a new song. And I don't even know what prompted this, but she's just like, I found a new favorite song. I was like, oh, yeah, what's it called? And she pretended for a second like she couldn't remember what it was called. And she started like humming the melody. I'm like, honey, I have no idea what that's called. I have no idea what that is. Well, like, what's who sings it? What's the name of it? She goes, I think it's called Everybody Gets High. And her mother and I kind of switch our faces up and look at each other. I'm assuming this is a hip hop song. I'm wrong. But so I immediately pull my phone up and I start typing in Everybody Gets High. And I pull up a Missio, I guess. Missio, Missio. It's the first thing that pops up on YouTube. And I hit play. And it's like kind of a dubstep-y thing with like a male voice singing in the background. But this dude, he's talking about a little boy far away getting drunk all the time and his friends calling him gay and all he does is get fucked up. and because everybody gets high. That's basically the point of the song. So while her mother is mortified, I at first was like, holy shit, a 10-year-old should not be listening to this song. This created a huge rift, Sam, because this 10-year-old does not know what these words mean. She knows they're bad words, most of them. But I believe from experience that from that Christian right that we were just discussing, that telling kids that they can't listen to something is not only going to make them want to listen to it more and find a way to do it, but they're going to attach themselves to it, even if they don't believe it, you know? So I just thought it was really funny because as a result, I have now been listening to this band and I kind of like them. I mean, they're not like my favorite thing, but I don't hate them. It's like they're really catchy but it's very dark and it on the surface, 10-year-olds should not be listening to it, but she's the one that told me about it. What am I going to do? Just
Yeah.
tell her she can't listen to it? What do you think's going to happen then?
I
Sorry for the
mean,
tangent. But
I don't know. I mean, listen. Even when I was 10, there was some, people found, people. I mean, now with the internet, who knows what kids are finding.
well, the
Um,
funny thing is we were asking her, where did you hear this from? Did your, you know, did your cousins play this or somebody else? Where did you hear this from? We guessed the first few things we thought. Oh no, it played on YouTube after some cartoon she was watching. Just random YouTube fucking suggested it to my 10-year-old on her 10-year-old YouTube account. Well, my 10-year-old YouTube account because it's hers. It's her account. It's a kid's account. So
wait,
I
so
mean,
wait, so it got past YouTube Kids, his algorithm.
yeah, apparently.
That
Unless she's figured out how to bypass the kids' fucking algorithm, because we made her an account when I bought her a Chromebook. Well, I bought them both Chromebooks for Christmas a couple years ago for their e-learning and shit, because all they were doing it on tablets, which is a pain in the ass. And I was sick of letting them use my fucking laptop. So I bought them each laptops and set them up Google accounts.
isn't your
So
laptop still like falling apart and whatnot, or?
no, no shit. I got a solid state hard drive in that thing. I got a whole new DCN jack.
Oh,
I
cool,
mean,
man.
I had it actually fully rebuilt. I mean, the thing's fucking 10 years old, but it was right at that line where it was like first generation, uh, like first generation iPhone type thing versus, well, iPhone's not a good example, but it's very upgradable, but it's old, more or less.
Yeah.
It's got a 720p and native screen. You know what I mean? If that tells you anything.
Yeah, no, I do. It's let's see.
Oh, you were no, listen. I only told that story because you were pulling up Twitter and I talked for too long.
No, I think it's I think that's a good story though. Let me see here.
All right, what are we doing on Twitter? What were you doing on Twitter?
I was just going to find One Step's link. So,
Oh, oh. All right, hold on. I'll find it.
okay. I have it. I just need to add like my web browser
Oh,
so
you
that
know what? I'm not gonna be able to watch it with you. So what you're gonna have to do is tell me like 1, 2, 3, and then I'll press play.
okay. Okay.
Holy shit! There are cats fighting in my yard.
Did you say there are cats or a cat
there,
fight?
no, there are felines, like four-legged felines somewhere in my vast yard out here. I could hear them fucking screaming and rustling shit about, but now I can't find it. I don't care.
That's funny. Let's see the other day, I think the other week, you and I were on a podcast together. I think it was the one we did with the Hoax Wars, and you were hilarious. You called me basically Owen Benjamin, but straight. So
Maybe.
or something, just because instead of being obsessed with men, I'm obsessed with women. So.
Oh yeah. Dude, I was kind of embarrassingly drunk last week. I shouldn't have been on the internet, but you know what? Who cares?
I shouldn't. I swear to God, there are times during quarantine where I don't think I should have been on the internet. Period. When I was stone cold sober. So.
All right, are we watching this or what?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find the fucking I'm trying to find the fucking input here. Okay. Oh, show windows with empty. Okay.
Fucking boomer.
Yeah. When it comes to Streamlabs, I am a fucking boomer. You bet your fucking ass I am.
Are you kidding me, dude? I'm talking into my fucking phone screen right now. I don't even have a mic.
So, yeah. Yeah, why won't... Well, see, part of the other thing, too, is it's not letting me display, the browser here. Which is... That's weird.
We're doing it on the fly, folks. We're doing it on the fly.
Okay, let me...
You want to hear another funny story?
Sure.
It's a short one. But I've followed Ethan Ralph on Twitter since I started my Twitter account, but I used to listen to the Kill Stream way back in the day. And I just was I don't know, I just thought it was funny. He posted something was on my Twitter timeline, and I was like, isn't Ethan Ralph gay? I heard Ethan Ralph was gay. And he blocked me like instantly. I just thought it was really funny because I was just making a joke. And even some other people on like Discord and shit were like, dude, you called him gay, bro. I'm like, no, I didn't. I said I heard he was gay. Like, I thought that's not a joke. I don't know. I mean, people are so fucking sensitive, man. E-celebs are so fucking sensitive.
Yes, dude. You are totally right.
Okay. Well, all right. Are we ready?
Well, I'm gonna have to like copy and paste this. Okay, I think.
Well, I'm actually curious how long.
There's going to be a rise in actual cult leaders right now, and they're waiting for someone like me to have a plan. That's the thing. I could be this massive cult leader right now. I can allow myself to be wrong, but I believe at the time I'm right. And I'm not. People have witnessed things that appear miracle-like.
Can you guys hear me?
Like it's constant here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, well, we couldn't hear you, or I couldn't hear you.
I'll tell you the plan. And I do have a plan. I'll tell you the plan and what I think. 211 acres, 5 miles from Vertec Tactical. And
am I taking over? Is this the Gamma Show?
Can you hear me?
Think about everything that it would accomplish. What I can
I can hear you.
Is a potential to be completely off grid
right now
with electricity.
Oh, well, you didn't tell me 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, sorry.
And total
That's all right.
monthly
Keep
taxes
going.
are
It
$700
froze. It froze
a
for
month.
Warfist.
For
So
the people that contributed a
The
good
video?
chunk, we can
Yep.
do shows there.
Yeah, I don't
We
know
could
why
do
the video is
wilderness
frozen, but
like
it
James True
is.
could do wilderness camps there.
Ah,
My
all
buddy
right.
in
Well,
LA would do men's fitness
sorry,
camps
one
there
step.
with a basketball court, shooting ranges, crazy.
Oh, okay.
Do
So
not
Warfist can hear
follow
us both
anybody on the
and the
internet
clip,
that you
but the
have not
clip
met in
itself is
person.
frozen.
And
The,
there's so many
the
people.
video
that
is
have so much
frozen, but
money.
I
It's
can
very
hear the
helpful
audio.
to everybody. And I think
Yeah, apparently Jack
I
can
got to
too,
the
so I'll
bottom
shut
of
up.
why I was getting kind of frustrated with the Bertaria fundraising. If you don't know a dude in real life, don't go to where they tell you. One of the biggest things is what I can say, what I can think, what I can try to explain. People are going to prey on you guys. Bear in mind, I'm terrible at fundraising. That's the thing, is we'd also be hiring. And I don't want that. Because I can't guarantee a cabin. I can't guarantee property rights. I can't guarantee that you can have your wedding there. Another thing I want to say. People squirt all the time thinking about like, oh, FEMA camps, Walmart's going to become FEMA camps. Stay away from communes. Well, how about we make our own fucking camps? I want all those things that I just listed, by the way. We need to get a fresh stream. What I can guarantee is we start with something grassroots, heritage American land that is 100% funded by you guys, where they can camp whenever they want. We have to get money to buy it. I don't want one hesitation ever. So the people that contributed asked for refund of PayPal donation for what was originally the minimum contribution. Stop just backpedaling. We fundraised 10% of $2 million immediately just from that stream. So much money. And it's just sitting there. It's all good. That's totally fine with us. There's never going to be anything. The best way to do this is we dream and come up with stuff. That way there's no control outside of what we want to do here, ever. Just email Kyneton if you want him to refund it immediately. I won't answer you. I won't care. Watch out. If you later go, I paid you. Where's it? This isn't the time or place to talk about that. I'm like, oh, well, that's the end of that. So if you want to keep it going, my dream is we start with something as simple as campgrounds. If you want to still be a part of this, what we need is 10% of the land to be a moneymaker. And then when we can buy something, we can. And don't dream in a way that's like you get resentful or Bear Trail. Guys, I wasn't going to start looking into Bear Trail stuff. We need to have the funds first and then look. But the perfect one is for sale. And it didn't come through. Like right now, Ursa Manor is all the Bertaria we need. No, we got to go Bertaria. If someone's like, let's start a commune, they want to be God. Can you say synchronicity? Yeah, this is all day for me, guys. All day. My whole life is synchronicity now. It's because I'm motivated by like energy and prana and vibes and community and all this stuff, so that like anybody can experience a tremendous amount of synchronicity if they purge the sins from their life, pray to the Most High, live a good life. Kung Fu Bear is experiencing a lot of synchronicities. I know a lot of you guys are. It's just so, I so clearly am all the time now that it's like, I could easily manipulate people and go, don't follow that shit. If you're going to start a commune, neighbors, people in your area. I don't feel guilty about fundraising
This is the
anymore.
gayest man I've ever seen with my own two eyes.
It's coming from a dude
Yeah.
who would love
in
to
my
start a
entire
bear
life.
Same here.
By the way, we already have proof of Bear Trail. It's right here. It's called Ursa Manor. It already exists. Now we just want to grow, scale, magnify it, inspire other people to do what I've already done here. But I've seen little glimmers of that in some of these channels. That's what Bear Trail's all about. We already have it. I kept over pressuring myself, being like, oh, I got to make something really fast. How much money do we have? Blah, blah. Owen, count me in when we start Bear Farm. We already have the design. You're watching it right now. This is the Bear Trail. It's in our hearts. And if you want to contribute, feel pressured. But you can go to hell for all I care. Fact. No exceptions. I'm serious. I actually watch out for you fucking people. If someone's like moved to this commune and you've never met them and you don't know anything about them, Don't. Grow where you're planted. Bloom where you're planted.
That's
building
rich coming
communities with
from
people
him.
you know that you're around. I'm not even going to listen to the cult. No. People all called me a cult leader because they didn't want you to see what a real cult leader looks like. I mean, I have, like, advice, but none of it involves coming and serving me. A real cult leader says, come, my children, come. I have the solution. I could organize a fucking giant thing. Everybody knows me. Do you know how many hands I've shaken? Thousands. If someone's like, oh, but what about your barbecue? We must commune, come to... I'm a performer. I do shows. I have the answers. Cult leader. If you don't know somebody and they're just on the internet and you're like, they make total sense, honey, we got to move and start this commune. I don't have the fucking solution. Line in the sand. Let's avoid spiritual groups. Yep. Guys, I'm telling you, if someone's telling you to start a commune with people that they've never met, don't even listen to them anymore. Because they're trying to be God. I would never invite people that I don't know in real life to my house, to my family's region. I promise you this. It's something I know. I could never invite people I don't know at all, that I haven't talked to a ton, to an area where I have my family, my friends, my people. That's a giant risk.
Jesus
okay?
Christ,
And I'm a very
dude, are you
giving
kidding
person.
me?
Very. Dude, no. I promise you. If someone has nothing to lose to the point where they could get a bunch of strangers to a random plot of land somewhere, they ain't helpful. Guys, I've invited so many people to crash here if they need to. Some people I don't even know that well just because they were good to me. If someone's like, I don't know you, but we're connected. We have the vibration. Watch out. If they have nothing to... Cult leaders are just going to keep making fun of sodomy and anuses. Like, oh, if we get up, you know, if the resonance is right in the anus, we will all just come to this plot of land. Don't leave your area. Don't do any of this shit. Don't. Dude, watch out. It's a fucking trap. They want you to be a slave. Because right now, while people are agitated, don't go anywhere these people are telling you to go. Dude, predators are trying to take advantage of you. Because right now, it's fight or flight. And everybody's real, like, agitated. Why do you think right now is that people are going to start making slaves? And I don't want any of you to fall for that shit. This is fake fear, obviously. Dude, if it's just you and a dog, you wouldn't invite a ton of people off the internet over. Absolutely, BB, protect family first. Don't leave. Exactly. Even if it's your fucking dog.
Dude, one
That's
step,
right,
I have trouble fucking figuring out where his edits
I know what
are
you're
and
gonna do to
where
my
the
dog,
actual video
Alex
is.
Jones.
I know.
I know what you want to do to my dog. Because the fucking toilet paper epidemic is so obvious that the root chakra, the anus chakra, is driving a lot of this shit. If someone is inviting strangers to their place, they have nothing to lose, which means they, like, legitimately. Most cult leaders drop a Steen or a Berg from their last name, which means they've lived a life where no one depends on them. And watch out for if they act like victims, like they have a limp or something, or they're all like, it's fake. Dude, a lot of grab-ware cult leaders will pretend their back always hurts and so, oh, I'm in so much pain, but I do it for you, the people. I'm not in any pain. In fact, I'm to the point where I'm so
Owen's
fucking
not in any
happy. I'm
pain,
trying to, like,
guys.
not be so pumped because I know people are in pain. All right, because that's another thing with cult leaders. They're like, oh, I can't feel my hands, because that's a way to deviate away from any criticism. Guys, I think Stevie Wonder, I think he can see. Swear to God. Watch out for when they're like, I just have the strength to talk today, and then I must go retreat. Want to know who's retreating with? Your wives. He's fucking them all. Most old rabbis used to just be cult leaders. Well, there was a time when they were good. One of my buddies calls me a rabbi because he said I was a good leader of the Jew. Guys, they always have a hustle involving ailments. Always, dude. Because just like what the Jews did, they have to be the victim, or else people say, why are you fucking everyone's wife and taking all our seeds? And they go, but I'm in so much pain, I do it for you, the people. It's a sacrifice. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. So watch out. Okay, these are the check marks for cult. They want you to move to a commune. They have some sort of ailment. They don't know you, but they say they have the answer. Check, check, check. Don't. Why the fuck would anybody want to be led by someone with ailments? Oh, I'm just a poor blind man. But I mean, but that means I'm stronger in other ways. I'm not led by blind people. No, I would never have a leader that's blind. Listen, I don't want to be a king. Don't even put that on me. For those of you just listening, I'm doing like the do it with my hand, but I'm contradicting it with my words. But why? Because that's very important for a king. Who wants to start a commune? It's kind of like the whole reluctant thing. I don't want to be a king. Guys, the Bear King. Come on, give me the title. There's going to be people that are like, to really welcome in the Gaia energy, we all must share love. And Bard is synonymous with band. Yes. Right now, our enemies use narratives. That's it. Okay, so you need a king that understands narratives, that understands the storylines, and then can sift through it. I don't know anybody who's 6'8" and understands storylines that people like to watch for hours? No, he just wants to fuck your wife. I just hate seeing people taken advantage of. I don't know anybody? I actually watch out for you fucking people. You can't see anything. I just hate seeing people taken advantage of. Let's start a commune. I'm serious. I actually want to be God. If anybody that allows that, I mean, you can go to hell for all I care. I'm serious. Any man that isn't satisfied by his woman and wants your woman, it's wrong. Predators are out right now. Out. Watch that shit, because there's going to be a rise in that. And if you can't stop it, though, I guess you don't even deserve the woman. No, that's insane. I don't give a flying fuck. Bow down and give me your anus and your money. It was a sign from God. God spoke to me the truth. Worship the grabblers. And they're going to be secretly your seeds. I'm not saying don't have trusted people that you all chip in on shit. Maybe I'm almost... At this point, I'm not saying don't have community. I don't know. I almost want the cult leader to get the woman. I already hate the cuck so much based on these scenarios. She'll be more served by the cult leader than the cuck. I don't know anything about Koresh. In fact, I'm assuming he's a good guy because he was so deemed a bad guy. Maybe that community was voluntary and it wasn't a cult that I've already created. The characters in my head, they're going to use cults. And if you cuck to that, it's your fault anyway. And I know how the upside down media operates. If someone has nothing to lose to the point where they could get a bunch of strangers to a random plot of land somewhere, they ain't helpful. I don't have the fucking solution. I promise you this. It's something I know. And now the Babylonian magic squares aren't going to work, okay? And I'm a very giving person. Very. I could never invite people I don't know at all, that I haven't talked to a ton, to an area where I have my family, my friends, my people. Dude, no. That's a giant risk. I promise you.
So I guess
Jeffrey
that's
Epstein's
the
consigliere, reputedly his pimp, has been arrested and charged with a number.
Okay. Yeah, that was a little weird using Safari, but are you still there, Apex?
Yeah, man.
Your oh, did we just lose Apex? I think we did. But anyway, yeah, that Owen video was crazy. Yeah, he basically does everything he, criticizes others of doing. So,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude. What the fuck? Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell just happened, but everything died.
You're back. So.
Good. Yeah, so that was a great video. What I was able to see by one step there.
Yeah, and
Fascinating.
I'll get the video of the source fixed, for future videos. But yeah, I think the thing with I think that was a if One Step was trying to do an edit, that was brilliant because I honestly couldn't tell where One Step's edit began and where Owen's actual thing uh you know
Well, he says we should see the full clip because I mean I'm assuming that he just edited it down, but even the points at which he edited it was like pretty smooth. Is kind of what I was saying.
Now, the one thing I'll say is I've heard Owen say before that he doesn't want to be led by people with ailments, and I feel maybe I'm self-projecting, but like I said earlier, I know he watches even the smaller streams, so I feel like he said that, to try and maybe come against me, even though fucking cerebral palsy. I mean, yeah, it is an ailment, but I mean, you drink turpentine, dude. So, what are you criticize? What are you criticizing me for? So, um, you know, and yeah, this man is just obsessed with being,
Dicks.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Hey, I'm gonna go quiet for like a second. I'm not gonna lie to the chat. I'm buying some weed, and I don't want my drug dealer to know that I'm on the internet where he thinks he might be heard. So I'm gonna go mute for a second. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Okay, fair enough. And hey, Fed Up Southern Girl is here. So thank you for joining in, Fed Up Southern Girl. And yeah, I haven't seen you in a while either. I'm glad I'm in the stream though. And yeah, um, yeah. And Warfist, you're a mod now, so that's why it gives you the option to show and hide comments. So you're a mod now, Warfist. Although to be fair, Alan Pell is a mod, and so is Johnny. Johnny's trustworthy, but Alan, well, Alan, I give him mod power because I know that he'll scare all the mods into behaving properly. So
Listen, Alan is the most. Let's see, what's the word?
Alan,
I don't want. Wait. Don't ruin my train of thought, and I don't want to boost that man's ego any more than it deserves to be, which is a lot. But Alan is a fearsome. I don't know. I lost it. I'm sorry. It's gonna be good for a second. Alan scares people, though. That's a fact. You know.
Alan, well, you just boosted Alan's ego just by mentioning him. So,
I dug that man out from beneath a fence post. I'm pretty sure, and discovered a biblical artifact to bring him back to life. I don't know what else I could do.
Alan now wants to troll CNN into oblivion. That's my new thing is Semper Reloaded. Alan, Apex, and I are all going to troll CNN into oblivion by starting my presidential campaign. And if you thought Trump's campaign was a shit show, oh, mine's gonna be even fucking more of a theatrics show if if that
We could just do Alan a favor and just get out of his way, right? We'll just give him the power. We'll give him the position. You know, like I don't know. We'll make up a new political position like Secretary of Media or something and put Alan fucking Powell in charge and watch them all shrivel like dead plants in the sun.
We just need to make Alan my campaign manager, and I will win day one. I won't even have to go out there and campaign. I'll just win because Alan will just like troll all my opponents into oblivion. So, which maybe Trump needs Alan as his campaign manager for 2020. For 2020. So, oh fuck. Yeah, going back to what you were saying though about China and whatnot. I am pretty sure those fuckers are behind Biden too. And he's buying weed, folks. That's why he's not.
Hey guys, sorry. Listen,
Oh.
I got things to do. I try to be an internet gamma, but I got IRL gamma things to do, including, things.
The things. Well, the thing of it is we all do gamma things IRL. So, but yeah, let's see.
All right. 2 seconds, sorry.
Let's see. But guys, it's pure gun turpentine. It's different because they harvest different white trees instead of dumb one. Oh, I'm reading cons. Also, I've got people on my Twitter right now, comment. I've got people messaging me on Twitter right now, not in the YouTube chat, but they're commenting on this stream in my Twitter DMs and saying that Owen is wacky. Yeah, no shit. No
You don't say.
No shit. But yeah.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm here. I'm present.
Alan also says, Apex, I haven't been weed delivering for over 5 years. So.
Well, I mean, if it was the delivery, then we wouldn't have had any issues. But I mean, I'm in my car once again, driving a stick shift with my left hand, while my right hand is on my phone. Because I don't have a fucking headset.
Warfist just tweeted at me on Twitter. No, you don't have people tweeting at you during the show. So.
No, you don't. I like Warfist. I don't know who the fuck he is, but I like him. Or her.
I don't know.
I like that. I like that entity.
I don't know who. I think Warfist is probably a dude. It's either a dude or a.
Well, it's a fist that's on fire. I mean, if I'm to judge the book by its cover.
I found Warfist from I think I found Warfist on Davy Crocco's or one of those Discords, which I am totally not in anymore because I am banned. But
well,
yeah.
Warfist found me. Most of my favorite people, both on Twitter, specifically on Twitter, all of my favorite people on Twitter have found me so far. Aside from, the people that I already knew going into it, Evil Eric, and, a handful of others, Sam, of course, yourself.
Evil Eric's been mean to you on Twitter lately, so.
That's fine. I like it. I think I enjoy it.
He's been calling you a simp lately So,
Well, I mean, Evil
just
Eric can call me what he wants, man. He's a free American citizen.
just because you were being nice to Donnie, that does not make it that does not make you a simp. That does not make me a simp either. So,
Well, I've never given anything to Donnie except for the floor in which to speak, and maybe some compliments. But I do that to women in person.
yeah,
I
but
would do it. You know, for as many fucking stupid women as there are out there, and ugly women, the ones that are marginally smart and pretty deserve at least some. Maybe not, because if you add up some from every fucking man on the planet, then that adds to a boosted ego, or that equals a boosted ego in a lot of cases.
mm-hmm.
So maybe Evil Eric's right. Maybe Evil Eric's just keeping me in check. I
Well,
like Eric. Eric can hate me all he fucking wants. I don't think he does, but
or
even if he does,
no, evil Eric likes you. He's just trolling.
well, no,
So,
I'm just saying. My point though is, Evil Eric can be mean to me all he wants. Maybe hate was the wrong word, because I actually kind of like it. It's been fun on Twitter. It makes my time on Twitter more fun, because otherwise I end up in arbitrary Twitter fights with stupid fucking Instagram thoughts. That think masks are sexy, shit like that.
I um and uh Twitter thoughts are one thing. Insta thoughts are an entirely different.
Whoa, wait. When they transcend both, that's when you really gotta. That's when it's just a whole nother thing. When they're
Yeah.
like a force on both, they may as well be an entire new species of fucking thing. It's disgusting, actually. Oh well, I make $300,000 a year off of my body. Fuck you. Uh, and like, I don't understand how that's a proud thing. How why is that something to be proud of?
Yeah.
I mean, make $300,000 a year building something. What do you
Well,
do? You make that $300,000 a year because dudes are fucking retarded and they have dicks and they think they could put it in you at some point because you're a whore and you convince them that they might be able to. That's what their job title basically is.
I love. There's one lovely lady I follow on Twitter, named
Uh,
Maya, who people think she's an ethot, but she's not. She's an author, and I think uh, she's not a Marine veteran. Coast Guard, I think. So,
don't fall for
um,
it, Sam.
but no, she
Don't
actually.
fall for
Uh, eh,
it. Don't fall for it, Sam. That's all I'm saying. No, you do what you want, man. You know what? Women are beautiful, and
I've
if idiots are fucking dumb enough to give them money just because they're beautiful, then they're fucking idiots. But just because I want to tell a beautiful woman that she's beautiful, whether it's in person or on the internet, and not give her anything other than that compliment, you can call me what you want. But I don't think that's the definition of sim. You know, not
yeah
in my book anyway.
yeah. Well, in most thoughts are not intelligent enough to write full length books either. So
Well, there may be, it's an it's like COVID, bro. It's an ongoing science. We're learning thoughts as we go. there may be there may be thoughts on a level of thought we've never, like, there may be THOTS on a level of THOUGHTS that we've never even conceived. Like, we never even thought of it because women are dumb. But you know what? Maybe there's some Lex Luthors out there with tits and vaginas. I'm just saying, don't put it past them.
well, they're that basically sounds like a lot of the James Bond villainesses, though. So, which,
Well, I mean, Lex Luthor, I'm pretty sure was Superman, but yeah, I get your point.
well, yeah, but I
I'm
mean,
just kidding.
But I mean, if there were like an ultra hot, evil chick out there, then I wouldn't mind
Wait. Time out. I didn't say ultra hot evil chick. I said ultra smart evil chick. I don't know in what world. I'm not a female, and I don't know how females think in most regards. But I don't think Lex Luthor was like the epitome of sexy man. He was smart. He was smart and evil. Kind
No.
of evil. Women are already halfway there. So if they could just get the smart part, which I'm sure one or two or dozens of them have done, then there's Lex Luthors with tits and vaginas all over the fucking world, bro. And we don't even know it because they're smarter than we think they could possibly be. Ponder that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah. Evil Eric says, I was kidding when I said Apex was simple. Obviously, considering that he's.
Oh no. Don't do that, Eric. I liked it when you were mean to me. Oh, that's okay.
Considering
Now you're
that.
simping for me. Now Eric's simping for me, so it's okay.
Well, Evil Eric was something for me. I mean, he told me to take my shirt off on Streamlabs and started that and oh meme. So
Well, I've told you to take your stream off take your shirt off every single stream that I've ever been on that I wasn't in the voice chat, and even most of the ones that I was in the voice chat. So you're welcome.
so.
No, that's why, you know what? Nobody likes being made fun of, I don't think, whether on the internet or in person. But there's a level, there's a type of person that, like your friends and your family that can say whatever they want. And you either, they don't mean it, or, if they mean it, they mean well. And there's a handful of people that I've met on the internet and in person, but specifically on the internet that I wouldn't call them friends because I don't fucking know them, but I trust them enough, and you're one of them, Sam, that, I wouldn't think that you would, at least not without me doing something first. I would have to provoke you guys, to you or any of these handful of other people to really try to hurt me.
I mean,
Jabs are what the internet is for, man. Like, if we're
I'm not gay, but if you really want, you're not talking about provoking me in that way. So.
Okay. Well, Evil Eric's rubbing off.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, no.
Rubbing off on you in your sleep.
Yeah, no.
He told me.
Yeah, no. I know. I know some of my audience members just do that when I'm on air. I can't help it. If that's what you used the show for, I don't know why I don't know why I'm more entertaining in that way than Pornhub. But hey, whatever works. So I'm pretty sure that Owen also whacks off to Vox Day. So
Well, he's already admitted that he's a daddy figure. Finally, we all already knew that. But since he's admitted it, does that then mean he was whacking off to his dad? Just kind of putting pieces together. Was he knowing his dad was gay all that time? Was he whacking off at the idea of his dad banging other dudes?
But did you see did you see Jonestown's clip on that? Owen said the other day, yeah, I'm not really sure if my dad actually is gay. So.
Oh yeah, because that was one of it's so hard to fucking keep up with, man. Like at this point in time, which I feel so bad because like my entire internet presence was based around fucking following and making fun of Owen. But like it's at the point now I can't follow it anymore. There are people much better at me, or much better than I ever was at keeping up and putting it together. One Step's one of them. Fucking Milker Nation is top goddamn tier. One Step is too. Johnny, when he still does, you know what? Actually, I don't think I've resubbed to Johnny with my new channel since I got banned, which would explain why I haven't seen any of his videos popping up. But I mean,
Johnny's
obviously,
been
obviously Johnny is the Godfather. There's no fucking question in that regard. But I don't know that anybody's ever done it better than Milker
Johnny and
and
I have
Jonestown.
Johnny and I have both been going hard on creepy Uncle Joe Biden. You've been pretty good on the whole fucking China thing lately.
Yeah.
So, and I mean,
Well, dude,
yeah.
China's become my main course, man. Like I've all of my other just wild things that I research on the internet and think about has been almost entirely consumed by China and their various, well, the Chinese Communist Party and their various dealings over the last handful of decades, specifically since the 90s. It's fucking amazing and terrifying, but it's like it's so blatant, dude. Like it's hard. It's one of those things, like I was saying, I don't know if this was pre-show or during the show so far, but like it's actually easier to look up fucking Pizzagate connections and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and the what was his name? The fucking the emails. What was the emails? WikiLeaks emails.
Oh,
Pizzagate. Come on,
oh,
Sam. Podesta.
oh,
Podesta.
Assange. Yeah, Assange and
No, yeah,
Podesta.
the Podesta emails. You know, looking up that shit and looking up theories on that than it is to like really figure out what the Chinese are doing with the Muslim Uyghurs, which is like a population of millions.
Wait,
Uh,
which
that are in concentration camps and being fucking sterilized. And you know, just recently, customs seized a shipment of like I don't remember exact number, but it was tens of tons of human hair that's speculated to be Uyghur. It's fucking female. So they're sterilizing them. They're cutting off all their fucking hair. They're all in concentration camps. You can't really find any info on it, much like the goddamn COVID-19 that we're all still suffering from. You know, the numbers from China where it originated, as you know, our our president, I will say, is you know, repeatedly been beating the drum, and he's right. I mean, he's been right about a lot of things, but this more than anything. I'm confident that in my lifetime, in our lifetime of all the people listening to this right now, live at least, most of, I should say, because some of us may die tonight or tomorrow. Hopefully not. But that the great fall of communism has happened in the Soviet Union, which was literally, you know, when we look back on the news reports and just in history in general, it was like overnight. It was much like it is right now, just this heated fucking Cold War between Russia and the United States, and then all of a sudden, all across the world, communism fucking died, and then the wall fell, and we saw all the atrocities. Everything's, you know, the actual info started to pour out, and it kind of liberated the world against the idea of communism and shit for at least a generation or so.
yeah.
So I don't know. I look forward. I look forward to seeing that. I don't like death and destruction. I don't like despair on any level. I don't, you know, but and I definitely don't want suffering for the Chinese people. But I have hope that the fucking like 1 goddamn billion of them that there are over there, compared to the handful of people that hold the money, that they'll figure it out. I mean, and with the rest of the world's help if they need it, which they may. But you know, it's one of those things that it could be argued from both ways, man. Because my again, the same friend that I tend to bring up is arguing for the Chinese Communist Party. He says, well, maybe we're the evil dictatorship, because obviously we've done a lot of bad. So maybe they're trying to do it right, and we're using everything in our power to make them look bad and subvert them. It's retarded. Listen, it's a retarded argument, but I can't convince him otherwise. No matter what evidence I provide him, fake news is a thing created by our president. Because guess what? Fake news is a fucking thing. But the people on the other side now use that, because fake news exists on all spectrums, on all ends of the spectrum, both ends and everywhere in between. Rather, I should say. You really have to. It's so fucking amazing that the internet has provided us with access to everything in the world, but it has made finding the actual facts harder than ever. You used to be able to read a newspaper, and there it was. That's what happened. You know, like all the relevant details, for the most part, rather. I guess I should say. And even fucking in my lifetime, used to be able to watch a news report, and if not that one news report, a follow up
Yeah.
the next day or 2 days later that would fill in everything, like literally all the relevant information. I posted on Twitter earlier because I'm pretty close to Chicago, Chirac, as it's been lovingly called by the fucking degenerates that run it with fear. There was a. It's funny because even the handful of people that do follow me on Twitter were like, I haven't even heard about this. There was a shooting at a funeral service in Chicago here. It was like 4 days ago. And according to reports, it appears to be an ambush of some sort. There was a black car with like 3 or 4 men. Mind you, not a single report that I have found names the color of any of these people, much less their political affiliation. So they're not Trump supporters and they're not white, for starters. But a black car pulls up in front of a funeral service and waited for the service to exit and then opened fire on this funeral service for a Donnie Weatherby, who was a victim of a shooting several days prior on a street corner, shot dead, seemingly randomly. So this dude is being memorialized and remembered by his family at a funeral service, and it gets opened fire upon. 15 people injured, I think 4 died. And the last report was the day that it happened. I can't find anything from any local sources, from any national sources, no further information. This was a mass shooting in Chicago at a fucking funeral. And I can't find anything about it, dude. Like, so I don't know I'm not sure what the point of that story was, but it's got me kind of upset, along with many other things, but
no, what's I completely understand that. I mean, there have been one of my friends, and this is another thing I wanted to bring up. So, speaking of Denver, I brought up Colorado kind of at the beginning of the show since I grew up there. Colorado has had riots there now over the weekend. One of my friends who works at the Capitol in the state legislature as an intern told me that riots have that Antifa is in Denver now, and they're rioting and breaking shit there and getting into doing their usual horse crap. Is anyone talking about it? No. In the media, I love this whole narrative. Well, there were mostly peaceful protests. Mostly. Only some of them got out of hand. Okay, well, are they peaceful or are they mostly peaceful? Right? There's a big distinction. Mostly peaceful does not equal peaceful at all.
No, mostly peaceful equals mostly peaceful, but that's not a definitive statement. That's
right.
As ambiguous as you could be. You may as well say some of the protests were peaceful. I mean, you can't prove either or unless you use your fucking eyeballs. And according to what we can see, most of the protest was not peaceful. Protests, rather.
Yeah.
Pick a city.
Well, and then when you call it out, you get canceled. I mean, Tucker Carlson is under fire once again. Why? Because he called out, CNN journalists who were, Tucker Carlson, I guess the other day, called out New York Times journalists who were doxing his, personal address and stuff in stories, which I believe is a felony, actually, to do that. I'm not positive, but like I'm 90% sure that that is indeed a felony to do that
Well,
to anyone.
wait.
Um,
What exactly is? Are you doxing someone or just doxing? Repeat that. I'm sorry.
so Tucker Carlson, I guess, got his address doxed by like the New York Times recently,
Okay,
and
I got you.
I'm
You think that's a felony?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna look that up real quick though too.
Yeah, I'm curious too because last night Ethan Ralph doxed someone's mother on stream because he was mad at them. I was curious about that myself. But regardless, yeah, no, like that's commonplace now, dude. That's part of the reason, as much as I want to at this point, because I never had any social media before I started fucking making fun of Owen. And as I've mentioned numerous times, both on your show and others, that I only started the Twitter account as at your advice for my YouTube account, which my YouTube account is now gone. So my Twitter account has more or less become my personal account. Like I just kind of, it's like personal shit posting, but it's also personal. Um, I'm not at all interested in like, uh, bringing my personal life into anything that I've done thus far on the internet. Although I've not really hid it, I've never been shy about anybody that I've talked to, like about, my name and what I do, but maybe I should be. But the point is that I'm making is that's that is what happens now. Cancel culture, whatever you want to call it, it is just as real on both sides of the fucking aisle. Whether you're talking about communist, socialist, deadbeats that need to be fucking, hanged and wiped off the face of the earth and not given a platform, or the evil right wing Nazi Trump supporter that doesn't need to be given a platform. That's you can find that at every turn on the internet right now. There's no let me talk to this idiot socialist and try to educate him, or let me talk to this idiot white supremacist Trump supporter and try to educate him. It's this dude is a secret. Especially, I'm speaking from experience. I'm constantly being called a secret white supremacist and a secret, um, racist and various other things because I don't hate anybody because of your skin color, but I also refuse to ignore evidence based on cultural differences and things. I mean, people are different on every single level, and prejudice exists in every living thing on the planet. I actually got into an argument with a girl last night, this stupid fucking woman, because she was her and her boyfriend, who is my friend, were hanging out, and I was trying to explain this very point that prejudice exists on all levels. Racism does not mean bad. Racism it's kind of expected. To me, what's racist or what's harmful is when you advocate harm against another group of people because of some arbitrary reason, whether it be their
yeah,
skin color or their sex or whatever else, right? That seems obvious. And I, was trying to further extrapolate on the idea of prejudice. And I used the example. I'm like, okay, Josh was my friend's name. I'm like, now when you are out in public and you see women around you, all of whom have vaginas that you could stick your dick in and create a child with, you don't look at all of them the same way that you look at your girlfriend, right? He's like, well, no. And she took offense to that point. She's like, no, that's sexual preference. I'm like, okay, well then let's talk about sexual preference, because you could have sex with anything on the planet that has a thing that can go inside of you, technically. Do you want to do that with everything that you can see that can fuck you? Do you look at everything that you could have sex with and say, I want to have sex with that? No, you fucking don't. That's not sexual preference. That's prejudice against things you don't want to have sex with. That's literally the definition, right? I mean, or at least an extrapolation of the definition. So,
I will say though, unless you're Ellen and you're obsessed with skipping the shaft as he says. So But I'm sorry.
Well,
I'll stop making I'll stop making Owen jokes. So
you know what? We can make all the Owen references we want on your channel, dude. I just am embarrassed when we do it on other channels because like, but regardless, I don't give a fuck what anybody does, man. Like, it's when you try to tell me that I know that you know better what I think and what I'm doing better than I do, and that's what's happening right now. And just like I told my liberal friend months ago, this shit that's popping off, what's going to happen is it's going to drive the wedge deeper. And people that have spent their entire lives, like me, 30 plus years or 40 plus years, or even further than that, that have never had a racist thought in their life, are going to be told they're racist one too many times, and they're gonna go, you know what? Fuck it, I am racist. I'm
I
not gonna. I'm tired of being told something that I'm not, so I'm gonna go fucking hard in the paint. And I mean, I like to think that most people wouldn't do that, but everybody has a fucking breaking point, dude.
you know
You know?
Gavin McGinnis actually brought that point up in one of his shows like 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
and he's absolutely right. Gavin said that 2 years ago that that like in Nick Fuentes is another like perfect example of this, right? I'm very critical of Nick Fuentes because I honestly think that he's a bit, radical. Like he does make some edgy jokes, and yeah, they might be jokes, but I'm not really sure. But you have to ask what made him like that to begin with. Same thing with Owen, to be
The
honest.
internet.
Same thing
The
with
internet.
yeah. Well, same thing with Owen though. To be honest, I mean, when I first started watching Owen, he was normal, and then he got
Quote unquote.
well, yeah. So we thought at the time, right? But um, he made a couple jokes on Twitter, which may have been edgy, but they weren't that bad. Twitter bans him, and so he's like, and all these like influencers are like telling him to come over to the
I'm sorry.
anti-Semite side, and so he did.
I have to. I have to. I have to dispute that a little bit, just timeline wise, because I'm convinced that. Sorry, guys. I'm convinced, and I don't think it's a secret or like, you know, unknown to most that follow Owen and that haven't for a while, that Owen learned most of what he's doing now and has been doing for the last 2 years, 2+ years, directly from Steven Crowder. The exploitation of the Christian right wing ideology, and specifically grifting as a whole on the internet, and how
Right.
you effectively crowdfund from a fan base, you know, because what Owen does is just the fucking crackhead retard version of what Steven Crowder does. And he's done it starting with those tweets. That was the point I was trying to make. Is Owen took a stand on something that the majority of the country, white Christian, conservatives, well, maybe not the majority, but a vast portion of the country would identify with. At least, I mean, no trans kids. That's pretty simple, right? But
I think though I think too, like, I will again defining the difference between like liberal and left is like I know a bunch of liberals, okay, not leftists but liberals, who were also in agreement with that. They're like, hey, I'm okay with trans people at like 18 or 21 or whatever, but yeah, no trans kids. Like, that's a pretty universal thing, I think, for the most part, is don't fuck with kids, right?
Eric said Apex is super horny with me. What the fuck? So,
Well,
can you hear me?
Evil Eric is
Oh, okay.
Evil Eric is self-projecting, probably.
Yeah. He's just happy. That's all it is. He's just excited to hear me so excited.
Well, I'm glad you're excited. So,
Well, I mean, I'm not, but I'm pretty good at pretending, man. You know, and I'm happy to be here talking to you without 5 other people.
yeah,
I do love the Versus show. I'd love the Versus show, but I make a fucking ass of myself every time I go on there. So
I love those guys too. But I will tell you, Dictator. I feel like I feel like Sean doesn't even host that show anymore. It's 90% Phil shooting off his mouth and screaming, and then like 5% of the rest of us responding. So
well, Phil, you know what? That's fine because I feel like I'm the one that's always talking. So, I mean, to be honest, I feel like the one person that should be talking is Donnie more than anybody because Donnie
Simp.
is
Kidding.
well, just because Donnie has a perspective that's different from everyone else on the panel, and she is articulate. She does have good things to say. She should be afforded the opportunity to speak up more, in my opinion. But to be fair, I fucking talk. She'll talk for 5 seconds, and I'll be like, "Oh, wait," and I'll fucking talk over her. I'll be the first one to do it. Wow.
Yeah, we all do that on that show though. I do that on that show, and I love
Yeah, we all do. That's
Donnie.
kind of what it is. Kind of.
Donnie also has her own podcast now too, so
Well, good.
So, and she has a much bigger Twitter influence than I do. Or, I mean, heck, I'm just screaming at the void, and
Sam, if you had, you know what? I'm not gonna go there.
I
was effectively gonna say if you just had tits and a vagina, and you used your femininity on social media. I'm not saying that's all that I wasn't, because the reason I didn't say it originally because I didn't want to suggest that that's all that Donnie's doing. But women are women, and women can't project themselves in any fashion without doing those things. So
well, no, and if you can use it to your advantage, more props to you. So I mean that's
right. It's just a shame on the people that don't recognize it. Is kind of what it is.
But again, Donnie bashes thoughts just as much as anyone does, and then my friend Maya, like I said, people think she's a thought, but more often than not, she ends up bashing like actual thoughts. So,
bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I could just post shit on social media, including half naked and fully naked pictures of myself for money, and do whatever the fuck else I wanted for the rest of my time, I would be a whore. I would absolutely be I would absolutely be an e-thought.
I mean,
maybe that's my dick talking, but
I mean, I'm pretty sure that that's what Evil Eric wants to do, but he just can't. So
I think you cannot convince me that Evil Eric hasn't been doing that since before it was like an internet norm. He was like a pioneer. That dude was an e-thought in 2003.
Well, I will say that Evil Eric and I have both.
I don't know, man.
But I will say that Evil Eric and I have both, not together, separately. We have both separately hung out with Playboy Playmates at one point or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eric on purpose, me by complete accident. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. So.
Well, was it in her vagina, Sam? That right? No. Or
No.
how close was it? No,
It,
I don't know,
it,
man.
it was pretty close. I'll say that, but
I mean, well, you do have an advantage, you see, because you are in a chair, and most people stand. So unless they were sitting in a chair, you're already halfway there, buddy. I don't know. I'm
I
sorry. Saying.
I will I will also I mean I I was a a gentleman, and also, you know, she was she did not act like a whore at all, and
Of course not.
she complimented me as well. So
Of course, to both of those things, because you are a gentleman, Sam. Listen, I keep saying I'm sorry because I'm trying to be funny, but like I can't even commit to these really bad jokes. Even though like neither you nor anyone in chat actually knows me, like I'm embarrassed by how shitty my jokes are. You know?
your shitty jokes though are funnier than any of Owen's piano fucking that nigger stole my
My bike,
oh
my bit.
uh he should have written that N word stole my my act. So
You know what? That just reminded me. I don't know why. I just was reminded. But the same fucking dumb woman that I was arguing with about prejudice last night told me that I'm not allowed to say faggot or retard. I'm not allowed to call neither my gay nor mentally challenged friend either of those things. She was more offended by that than my take on prejudice. Um, and I broke down, which made her really mad to the point that she left. She walked out, and she identifies as a witch, mind you. She thinks she's a witch. That's her religion. She's one of these
oh
fucking girls, and
oh my
she's like
oh she's one of
23.
those.
Yeah, she's like 23. Yeah.
Oh my
So
yeah
listen,
oh
she's not stupid, but deep down at that little nougat center, she's fucking retarded. But anyway,
yeah
um, the
I had one of those like Coven witch chicks like try and do a thing on me,
put a
and
spell on you.
yeah, I'm like, and I just told her I'm like, I've seen that episode of South Park where
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
where
Yeah.
where they go to where all the emo kids go to Hot Topic and do a seance. So I
Oh no, man! I was thinking of the witching episode, the Jack and Crack Witch Week.
wait those are oh right those are oh shit I just combined
Those are totally different episodes. Yeah,
I just combined two episodes into one though. That's
yeah, two
hilarious.
episodes, almost 15 years apart, too, probably. Yeah, yeah, they're both excellent episodes. That's the Vampire Kids versus the Goth Kids, and the Jack and Crack Witch Week, where Mr. Garrison is already President Trump. So that one's like fucking last year.
Oh,
That's good shit.
I love that whole fucking storyline though, because honestly, I don't mean
Wait, the whole storyline of Trump or Garrison as Trump, or
yeah of Garrison.
dude, me too.
Well, because honestly, I don't think that when they did that, I don't think anyone knew that Trump was actually going to win the fucking thing, right? Like it was like it was
I think
still
Matt and Trey did. I think Matt and Trey did. Maybe not fully consciously, because they didn't even, you know. I didn't mean to cut you off, man, but even going back to the last election, 8 years ago,
yeah
when it was McCain versus Biden, they made two episodes, and they
yeah.
made one. They made an episode for depending on which one won. But this time they didn't bother. They were like, "Oh, this is a joke," or did they? Did they already know? Were they in touch with the rest of America like the rest of America was? Because they
Well
seem to have been their entire careers. You know.
well you Well, did you ever hear the story of what happened in 2017? With Trey and Matt? They got like
No.
they got like some big award. They got like some big animation award, like specific to the animation community or something like that, and they got like some
Right.
award, and uh that basically like Matt and Trey basically came up on stage and said, "Yes, yes, thank you. I'd like to address the rumors that have been circulating about us for years. Yes, the rumors are true. We are conservatives. Good night,
Oh,
folks."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I guess I don't I don't know if the footage is on YouTube anymore. I don't think it is,
I'm
but
sure it is.
but
I'm sure it is.
but the footage I saw, you could see a pin drop. You could like hear a pin drop. Like the room was just like dead. The room was just like dead silent. Like they were making jokes about like conservatives at first, on stage, and then they were like, "Oh, and by the way, we are conservatives. So good night," and they just left
I
everyone.
have I have maintained for years, and I'll admit, even though I was alive and old enough to have been watching it, I didn't watch South Park from the very first episode.
Oh,
I
same
certainly
here,
watched it.
and neither did I.
Well, I certainly watched it. Well, I mean, what do I have at least, what do I have, 6 years, 7 years on you, Sam? So, I mean, if I was seven and South Park was out, you were one, which isn't the case, I don't think, or maybe. Either way,
I
I was
would.
old enough when it actually released that I should have been, or I could have been, was capable of watching it, and old enough to, rebel against my parents and shit. But I was not on board. At least I wouldn't say at least until either the end of season one or season two, maybe three, something like that, when they really started to hit their stride, and they were having fucking George Clooney playing the fucking voice of a dog in an episode, and Jennifer Aniston playing the voice of um, the tour guide out in the jungle, where Carton's hitting fucking snakes and monkeys with sticks. That's the best thing. Just
Yeah.
yeah, fucking dude. I've maintained for most of my life at this point that those dudes. I mean, Dave Chappelle's a comedic genius, but they, specifically Trey, but I think there's something about Trey and Matt together that makes it really special. Because I think Trey by himself would be a fucking homeless dude on the side of the street that, like, 150, maybe 250 people over the course of his life got to interact with. But for those 250 people's rest of their lives, were like, dude, the funniest fucking dude I ever met was this homeless dude on the side of the
Yeah.
road. I think his name was Trey. And he told me all these fucking stories, and he showed me these pictures, and you know what I mean? Um, the Jews, Matt's the Jew to Trey's, genius.
Yeah.
But either way, though, like the comedic genius that has come out of just simply the show South Park. Let's not forget um, their Broadway endeavors and their
Book
silver
of
screen
Mormon.
endeavors. They're almost at the EGOT, right? The Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony.
Yeah.
What do they miss? They're only missing one. I'm not sure which one.
Here's the thing about Matt and Trey. Trey specifically. Trey is everything that Owen Benjamin wants to be. Basically. I mean, Trey is the creative genius. Both comedically and musically, that Owen wants to be.
Yeah, and
So
Matt's the Jew that Owen thinks he is.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean that 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 show just keeps getting that show just keeps getting more relevant every year. Like people think it's going to lose relevance, but it hasn't, and it's been on for like 20 years now. So Um,
Yo. A Storm of Wrenches just made the point that I was about to make, and that is
oh,
Orgasm.
yeah. Well,
Orgasmo, which, by the way, hello, A Storm of Wrenches. Nice to see you, sir. But I literally just watched Orgasmo with my friends who are both over 30 and had never seen it, and they were not prepared. Apparently, even though I told them that they weren't prepared and they needed to prepare themselves, because that movie is so fucking funny, dude. It's so stupid. It's basketball with dicks and porno, and I can't even, like, you can't describe it.
no,
I can't describe it anyway.
I've
It
seen it. So
I know I'm not saying you haven't. I'm talking to the audience because I'm assuming since you're here with me that you've seen it. But
yeah,
I'm just
no.
saying in general that, like, it's, if you haven't seen it, watch it because it looks stupid and it is fucking stupid, but it is funny. It is funny as anything has ever been funny.
It is one of those movies that you can't describe. Another movie like that is you know the movie series Twilight about the gay, not the gay but the vampires.
The homoerotic vampire werewolf shit. Yeah, I never
Yeah,
watched them, but yes.
yeah. There was a movie like about that came out like the year before I was born, maybe the same year I was born, so 95 I think, or it was like 94, called Tales of the Crypt, Bordello of Blood. And I mean it's a horror film. It's a comedy. It's kind of like a comedy horror film, but it also, I mean, it takes place in a I mean in a bordello. So, which not too many people know what that is, but it's
Oh yeah.
a, yeah. And it's one of those movies that you have to see, otherwise you're not going to get it. So,
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about Orgasmo that I just watched the other day, and I'm realizing how long it's been since I've seen basketball and just how fucking good basketball is. How funny, rather, basketball is, because it's a shitty movie, but it's so good. Oh man, the pinnacle of good shitty movies.
yeah. So, um
Hey Sam, what do you think about Mindhunter? Huh? That was
I
only a year ago. I told you to start watching that by now.
I know, and I am going to actually, you and I should watch you and although YouTube won't let us do this because it's gay. But
T Live, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
no?
Although I don't know. I don't know if D Live will. Um. But yeah, we should like do a watch together show. So
Would that be
although
like a room whack?
I mean maybe, uh, uh I don't know. Is there anything like super erotic in Mindhunter? Or
No, no. And even Alan's like, oh, I didn't really like it. But at this point, it's a meme to me. I've been trying to get you to watch it just to get your opinion on it because I mean, it is, I'll admit, it's boring if you don't care to like think about things while you're watching it. If you're just trying to watch it and just absorb what it is and be, entertained by solely by what's on screen, it does take some thinking. But to me, it was like reading a, it's almost like reading a book, but obviously not because it's not a fucking book. You're watching something.
no, but that's
Um,
that's how the
it's
that's
done
how the
very different.
Americans is too. So
It's done very differently. I can't remember the fucking director's name or the creator's name, but I want to say it's fuck. Anyway,
No,
it's
you.
good. I enjoyed it,
No, I am. I
and I
am.
just wanted your take on it. Way back in the day when it first came out, like
No,
when it
I.
first, they're on like season fucking 3, man. And I've been trying to get you. I'm like, what do you think? You watch Mindhunter yet? Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it soon. I swear I'm gonna watch it. Again, a year fucking later,
I am
2 years maybe.
I am gonna watch it one of these days. The thing it is every time I'm on Netflix in the living room, my mom wants to watch something else. But although I did get her to watch True Detective and she liked that, so at least the first season. So um so yeah, I mean I will watch Mindhunters probably. Although the only
Well, you
the
may not like it. I
the
just want you to, I mean, watch the first episode. At least watch the full first episode, and then like see where that goes. You know?
the only reason Alan doesn't like it is because I'm pretty sure that Alan's like secretly a serial killer, right? And mine and Mindhunters is all about serial killers. So
Yeah, yeah, it's true. So, well, it's effectively about the birth of the like criminal profiling section of the FBI and like how it was born, how it came about, and through the controversy and the open-minded people that were trying to figure other crazy people out. I found it is actually a book. Mindhunter is a book written
yeah,
by the actual person that the show is based on. You know what I mean? So you could just read the book, but it plays like a book to me. I mean, I know that's a bad description,
no,
but it's the most.
I know exactly what you mean though, because that's how the Americans is laid out, kind of like a it's a show, but it is a novel, like
Yeah,
too, or like a series of novels, I guess. So, um,
right.
so, um, let's see
What are we doing now?
what else is there to
I mean,
talk?
we could talk about China until fucking the red sun rises.
I mean,
Oh, wait, I have something that I actually want to do this, and I'm trying to do it on my phone, and I can't figure it out. I don't know if I don't know. I should be able to because I got a fucking Galaxy or one of the fucking Galaxies with a S Pen, one of the newer ones. So I should have the ability to cut and paste shit. But I want to make a hammer and sickle communist flag, but I want to replace either the hammer or the sickle, I'm not sure which one, with a mask, like draped in the same way as
yes.
whichever one is replaced. And I want to make it decent enough so that I can print it on things and like go to fucking Kinko's and print it big enough to like hang it next to the American flag or something, you know what I mean, in various places. I have like some street art, quote unquote, ideas for something of that sort. I just can't seem to figure out how to fucking make it.
Uh, yeah. I mean that sounds good. I'm sure Evil Eric could do something like that. So, I mean,
Well,
I need Alan to make me an intro like he did for Semper Reloaded. So, because Alan is actually, people just think he's a troll and that's it, but Alan is also like a master video editor. So, um,
well, he's a master autist because according to him, OBS isn't that hard if you're autistic. I think that was his exact quote.
so, well, and also, people want me to help settle settle the beef between Mersh and Alan. But the thing it is that's a that's a fight I'm not getting in the middle of any more than I have to.
You're not gonna fix that, dude. How are you gonna fix that? The only one that's gonna fix that is Mersh.
Yeah.
Alan didn't fucking do anything wrong. And
Nah.
you trying to stand up for Alan only makes it look like Alan did something wrong.
Well, and
You know? Fuck
that
Mersh, dude.
and that's
And
just
fuck anybody that thinks Mersh has ground to stand on. Sorry to cut you off.
that's just what I did. All I said was that Alan's thing was clearly a joke. That's all I said. And now I'm in the anti, you know, Merch camper or whatever.
Well,
I don't know though.
Warfist has a good idea that they should box for charity. Alan and Mersh. I mean, the only problem with that is Alan is incorporeal. He's not even like tangible. So, I mean, to the point that he would twist Mersh's fucking doughy body up like a pretzel. But I don't even know that his poltergeist capabilities are that strong yet. I mean, that was like a year ago that he was resurrected. So,
No, Alan is so powerful that he could just make a meme and the meme would box for charity. So, but yeah, I will say though too that this whole thing with someone in one of my videos the other day posted a comment saying to report merch to the IRS. I'm not doing that shit either. So it's just these whole internet feuds are weird. So, but yeah, I don't know. And Apex, we have smooth dead air again, I think.
sorry, dude. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. I was paying attention to the chat too much. So now what are we doing, Sammy?
I mean, what do you, so I do want to ask you this. At what point do you think things go back to normal, if ever?
I think that's an excellent question. And well, I'd say an excellent question because it's relevant. Because I actually made this example today, this exact example that I'm going to make to you. Because someone else asked me this IRL while I was at work, just a customer that I see regularly. She's like, well, when do you think we can go back to normal? Because here I am strapped with a fucking face mask on for no goddamn reason, while she's forced to have a face mask strapped on for no goddamn reason. And I told her, I don't think normal is real anymore. What you think of as normal is gone. I don't think it exists. And
Well,
she's
right.
like, oh, well, she just scoffed and kind of, hand waved it away. And I used the example of losing a loved one because that's something that's happened to me recently that I've still been dealing with. Someone very close to you in your
Yeah.
family. When that happens, what I've found in my experience is after the initial shock and just terror and just horror of the situation, my reaction has been to try to go back to normal. And the realization that I have found, quite painfully,
Is that
as
you
most
can't?
people I think do, is there's no such thing. That normal is gone. What you have known as normal doesn't exist anymore. You have to forge the strength to make a new one from here and not make it any worse than the one before. Perhaps make it better. Look for the avenues to do that. But the idea, that's what bothers me so much about the fucking masks. It's like, let's preserve, let's do every fucking arbitrary thing we can except anything that might actually matter. Like mass testing to, retail facilities, anybody that deals with the public, these people that have to wear masks for 8 hours a day or lose their job. You know what? As the public, you don't have to come in. Every fucking company in the country now offers curbside pickup. You can order that shit from your phone and sit in the parking lot. You don't got to put a mask on. If you want to walk in and look around, you got to put a mask on, because guess what? People piss on all over the bathrooms in these places. They'll wipe their shit on the walls for no fucking reason, because the public is disgusting. You can't control that. But the people that are on your payroll, whose social security number you have, who you give insurance to, you're responsible for them, and they're responsible for your company. So things like, if you want to strap masks on everybody, why don't you put oximeters? Pay for some oximeters. Let's make sure that these people you pretend to care about aren't depriving themselves of oxygen, giving themselves brain damage effectively. Because if you're caught without a mask on in a lot of these places, you're going to get reprimanded and eventually lose your job. Now, if you can prove some sort of medical condition, good luck, because nobody's fucking taking any new patients because COVID. You can't get a doctor's appointment anywhere unless you want to pay, $200 out of pocket, and you're lucky to get the hours that you're scheduled, because people are sick and are being paid to not come to work because they have a fever. It's a shit show in the area. The general field in which I work is a shit show, which is effectively retail. But I might lose my job at this point, because I'm pushing back against mandates coming down from a company that, tall and proud stand for the customer and the employee, the team members and the customers. That's all they care about. They do everything for that. Well, that's a lie, because you're a corporation. You're there for profit. But it does make sense to hold up the people at the bottom. The people that hold your company afloat, you give them the most incentive to do well for the customer, then they want to come back, right? That makes sense. But for these companies, again, to just fall in line with everybody else, strap a mask on your face or you're going to lose your job. And what specifically I'm referring to about what I might lose my job over, because I've been told explicitly now 3 times by my higher ups to just drop it. That they've passed down one of many things that we have to digitally sign as an employee, and my team members have to sign. But this is it's like 2 sentences long, and it in essence says, I, blank employee, will do whatever blank company says in mandate to, or in response to the changing, ever-changing pandemic circumstances, whatever. And then, space, next paragraph. I effectively, it's basically says the same thing, but it's worded more like I swear. It's more of like an affidavit that you swear to do whatever the company says, no matter what, in regards of safety. Right. And in principle, that's fine. I agree with that. But what I don't agree with is, again, the fact that even me, as a quote unquote manager, whatever the fuck, it means nothing at this point. I'm nobody. I make more money than the people underneath me, but it means nothing. It's proving itself more and more as time goes by, at this point in time anyway. All I'm asking for is for them to reword this document to ensure that whatever mandates they're passing down to the employees, that I'm making them sign as their superior, who's in charge of them as a human being, as their, fucking superior at work, that they're going to be protected by the company if unforeseen circumstances arise. I want better language. I want them protected, because yes, they provide you insurance, but good luck doing anything with it, because again, nobody's covered, or the deductible on most of this shit is retarded. I'm taking a stand just simply because I read through it, and I've read through tons of corporate Fed documents that I'm like, that's bullshit. But I have found a way to be like, okay, guys, look, I don't fully agree with this either, but this is the way we need to look at it. We all need to sign it. I need you to sign it. If you don't want to sign it, I need you to find another job. But in this case, I'm not comfortable. I don't know if it's just the atmosphere right now, but and I'm, everyone's like, just be careful, don't, it's not worth your job. And it's not worth my job, but it's also not worth a lot of things. And at some point you do have to stand at for thing, you have to find a way to hold firm against something. And I've not been very good at that in a lot of ways most of my life. It's part of the reason I'm so fucking I'm management in retail and not an owner of my own company. But the point is that this great company that I thought years ago that I started working for, that I'm like, this is, you know what, it may be this shitty level of work, but the company itself is, I actually kind of like it. I like the way they do things. Now that the gears have shifted, they have fallen in line with Walmart and Amazon and every other corporate fucking entity. One of the doctrines of this company that I work for is based on faith. Their motto of the CEO was faith, family, and then maybe the company. Effectively, that was what he said. And
Right.
so we're talking about God, then your family, then your company. And now there's mandates being passed down about diversity mandates. Like you've got, it's, now I'm being forced to tell people that they don't look at people the right way. That's another thing. I've found a way to do that even. Like, look, I'm not going to tell you that you know how to think, but some people are retarded and some people think about things, what you would consider improper or I've cringed. I've had to cringe more than once at some of these things, but I've tried to find a way to do it. And for some reason, this mask thing and this whole COVID thing really fucking does not sit right with me. And I'm at the point now that I'm going to warm up the chainsaw and the fucking push mower and the old fucking zero turn, and hook the trailer up, and I'm going to go start fucking mowing people's yards and cutting trees down. And you know what I mean? Because at this point, I don't know if it's just because I'm still working for somebody, and I'm not even so much worried about me. That's the problem, dude. I think how many millions of people work in retail and work with the public in general and are worse off than me, who's, I'm not great, but I'm definitely not bottom of the barrel. It could definitely be worse for me, but I'm not great. But they're the people that work, that have ailments they don't know about, that work part-time at McDonald's and don't get insurance, that are forced to wear these masks for 8 hours a day and are going to end up, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being fucking hyperbolic. Maybe it's just emotional shit. Maybe it's just gamma, the radiation pouring out a little extra, but it bothers the fuck out of me. And I'm clearly not alone. I mean, there is now a mandate in my state starting Monday that it's a misdemeanor offense, Sam. If you're in public without a mask on, you're getting between $250 and $1,000 fine.
No.
But you know what?
No fucking way.
But you know what? You know what? Bars aren't closed. And you know what you can do in bars now? Still? You can smoke. So you can't walk into these buildings without a mask on for threat of a literal criminal offense into a building that the sole purpose of which is to consume, to imbibe beverages in your mouth. You put those drinks in your mouth. And most
Right.
people that go there smoke cigarettes with their mouth. And I was talking to the owner of one of my local bars. He's like, well, I don't really understand it, dude. But from what I get, you have to walk in with it. But once you sit down, you can take it off. But if you get up to go play pool or you get up to go to the bathroom, you got to put it back on. Like, and that makes sense to you. He's like, no. That's just what like the city council's telling me that they've been told by whoever else. Like, and that, like, I mean, double face palm, head rub. Like, I can't even. I fucking can't even. And people are just like, and they're just like, well, we got to do what we got to do. I keep hearing the seatbelt argument. Oh, well, What about fucking seatbelts? Seatbelts kill people, but the state makes you wear them. The federal government makes you wear them. Oh, you motherfucker. Like, I mean, I guess in essence, that's a fair argument because it's a freedom that they shouldn't be taken from you. They shouldn't. You should have the right in your own vehicle. I mean, seriously, who are you going to hurt if you go flying through your windshield if you smash into somebody? Really? You know? So the idea of the government mandating a law to protect you is fucked up. That's a fact. I don't agree with that either. But I know a lot of people that drive around without the seatbelts on, and they've never gotten a ticket for it. You know, I know myself included that have had a busted automatic seat, but those like stupid shoulder strap in an old 86 Escort that was broken. The shoulder strap, when you close the door, you know what I mean? It would automatically move. It was broken. So I got pulled over, and the lap belt was separate, but because it didn't have the shoulder strap, I got a seatbelt ticket, even when the fucking thing was broken. So, you know, it still happens, but I don't think it's fair. I don't think seatbelts versus masks is a fair comparison. I mean, to the public, maybe.
No, it's
because
not.
you want to. Well, but it might be though, Sam, because like I mentioned earlier, every fucking company, even out here in the middle of goddamn nowhere, does curbside pickup now. You can order it online, and you can sit in the parking lot, and they will bring it the fuck out to you. You don't have to go in there. You might want to, and you might need to. But if you need to, strap a mask on your face for 5 minutes. Go find what you need. Get the fuck out of there. That's honestly, I don't like it, but that's fair from my perspective. Again, as the corporate shill, essentially, that is, you know, been being brainwashed by the corporate mentality for long enough now that I get it. I understand the concept, but it's the employees again that I'm concerned about in all of these companies, because COVID tests are not, they could provide those. They could test employees at least once a week. Everybody on staff, it wouldn't be that expensive and it wouldn't be that hard to schedule. Oximeters, like I mentioned, if they want to strap masks on everybody's faces, they could spend a few dollars and make sure that the employees that are working are not depriving their blood of oxygen, because most every other profession that has to strap PPE on their faces not only wear oximeter, they wear all kinds of fucking warning devices about, you know, their body temperature and their blood oxygen level and shit like that. So, and that's another argument that I keep fucking hearing. Oh, dude, well, I sandblasted for 8 hours a day with fucking full PPE on. Like, okay, well, how many hours of training did you take before you had to do that? Oh, well, 8 to 10, and then I had to. Okay, well, I work in fucking retail. I sell shit to people that want to buy shit. I didn't sign up to sandblast fucking shit for 8 hours a day, nor did anybody else at Walmart or McDonald's. They sell fucking burgers. And, you know, health conscious is great. Wash your fucking hands, you goddamn degenerates, for sure. If you're sick, don't go to fucking work. Jesus Christ, how fucking hard is that? That's been the case for my whole fucking life, and I ain't that old. But even before me, that's what my parents taught me. There were signs everywhere in my school. Wash your fuck. I can still picture some of them. The cheesy fucking early 90s idea of funny and kid friendly. I'm sorry for talking so long, but this shit makes me mad, dude. It's got me really fired up.
It's fine. I'm pissed off too, and I'm equally pissed off too that like that. So here's another thing that kind of pisses me off too. So we've been kind of in quarantine semi now, off and on for roughly 6 months now. Feels fucking longer than that. But you know, like, believe it or not, I have IRL friends, you know, here that I do hang out with. I am kind of a homebody, but I do like to go out, you know, with my friends, somewhat. But because of the whole COVID thing, especially here in Florida, a lot of the bars and whatnot that my friends and I usually like to go to are all closed, right? And so I called one of my friends up the other night and asked him, "Hey man, do you want to maybe grab a drink, on Friday night or something, or over the weekend with, get some of the crew together?" And he said, I'd love to, but we, obviously the bars are closed." And I'm like, "Oh, that's fine. Maybe we can meet at, your house, or someone else's."
Ooh,
And
fancy.
I'll pitch in for beer, or someone can come, get me, or and I'll help pitch in for beer. Well, I'd love to have you guys over, but my girlfriend, and his girlfriend is a nurse, folks. My girlfriend doesn't want anyone coming over because of, COVID and whatnot. I mean, I'd love to have you, but it's just not going to fly. Now,
That's so fascinating. I'm going to cut you off for 10 seconds to say I have had both ends of the perspective from medical professionals in my own life. They are either on that side or they're like, this is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. I've been a nurse. I've been a registered nurse for 10 fucking years. I've never seen anything like this. It's stupid. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. I've heard that perspective too. Now, to be fair, like, I am not making fun of this, of my friend or his girlfriend.
I can.
She's a she's a sweet lady, and I really like her. With that being said, it's very odd to me because she's in a she's in a she works in a hospital all day. She comes home. He's a manager for one of the Wawa, chains. So, for one of the Wawa stores. So he, works all day. They come home and they're both in the house together. Theoretically, they could both be carrying, whatever. And yet they're worried about, you know, about, you know, about Cole's friends coming over to have a couple beers for, like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, it's weird.
Well, it's paranoia, Sam, and
Yeah.
it speaks exactly to what has me so bothered and why I feel the need to react the way that I do, man. Like I've been pretty meek about a lot of things that I felt the need to stand up for in my life for reasons like job security, for like not rocking the boat, or for protecting a relationship, or fucking fill in the blank, dude. I mean, things that I feel like most people have done, if not everybody has done, and countless points in their lives. And I guess I'm just at a point. Call it uh, just I don't really give a fuck point sort of place in my
Yeah,
life
no.
because I. It's not that I don't have. It's not that I don't have a lot to lose, but I feel like I have lost too much already. Is kind of the thing, and wagering what I have left versus what I feel might be gained for not necessarily even myself, but for future Americans is what, because that's another thing that I never joined the military, which is something I always wanted to do. I was convinced from a very young age that I wanted to do. And I talked myself out of it at some point, out of some sort of, meek cowardice, I guess, or whatever it was, more concerned with getting pussy and doing drugs really is what it boiled down to. But and a lack of push from boomer fucking parents that were more concerned about themselves than what the fuck I was doing. But regardless, I love this country, man, and I've loved this country my whole life, and
I know.
I've not stood for a whole lot in regards, except for the Pledge of Allegiance every day, which I still pledge allegiance to, So
It's
I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's just some sort of delusion, like it's pre midlife crisis, on top of just the craziness of the world, but I feel like one of a growing handful of sane people in a world of just fucking berate lunatics, or belligerent lunatics is the belligerent was the word I meant. Sorry. uh, yeah. So
no,
um,
I hear you completely. Like I'm not even fucking 30 yet. I'm only 20. I turned 25 this year. I'm only halfway through my 20s. And,
yeah, yeah, baby.
like I honestly got to thinking about uh and trust me, I love what I do when I'm studying in college and what I'm doing, semi-professionally. But I'm also at the point where I'm kind of like, what? Now that everything has changed so much, what's the point? Honestly, like I had that thought today just for kind of like a brief, moment where I'm like, what's the point if everything's going to go to shit anyway, you know,
Well,
then
the point might be, Sam, is to be a rational voice in a world of irrational voices, because I mean, I feel like that's from the time I found you, which admittedly was already after you'd found Owen, and um, my attention to you and your channel was kind of predicated to that, at least originally. But you know, it should be about finding the truth,
y-
and not about not about this is me personally, and not about perpetuating other people's ideas. Um, we all build off of other ideas and concepts. Every artist, every philosopher, they've I mean, I guess it all had to start somewhere. But the point being is, all the greatest ideas in architecture and art and literature structure, it's all been built from off of the things prior to it,
right.
in various degrees. So that's another thing that my stupid liberal friend keeps trying to argue with me about communism and about capitalism being just this evil force, and he thinks that we need to tear it down because we could do better, because that's something that has happened throughout humanity. Like, why can't we are here now, why can't we pass beyond this? And that's a fair point. I mean, I agree with that in sentiment, but murder and chaos rampantly is not the way you transcend. That's never been. Well, I guess that's not true either, because murder and chaos has in fact been the way humanity has transcended throughout history. So
Yeah, up until
again,
up until the United States, really. But
well, and then the American Revol or the Civil War, which
right.
was quite a lot of chaos and bloodshed and death, which was after America was born. You know what I mean? So that can't be ignored either. So
You know,
America is the greatest country in the history of the fucking planet that has been recorded, that we can recover. There's no doubt about that with by anybody that has a rational mind. But I think the real stemming issue is that people think it can be better. They think they can do better. It's a common argument with communism. These communists and socialists that I rarely run into, they effectively are telling me that, well, Stalin and Mao, and Lenin, they didn't do it well enough. And what they're saying, and I feel like I feel like I heard this 5 years ago from Jordan Peterson for some reason, but they're effectively saying that they could do better. They think in their minds they're sociopathic, narcissistic brains that they could do better because of knowing their mistakes, that they would be less corrupt and less all of the things,
Yeah.
And I guess that hypotheticals are hard to argue,
The
that extract hypotheticals that are that abstract are hard to argue.
the
It's
thing
like,
of,
how do you really argue that? You can, but you know you know if they're already on the other side of the fence, the likelihood of convincing them of anything other than giving them more ammunition against you in some way, which again is my experience. I'll fucking say something stupid, trying to make a stupid joke point, and it'll be taken literal and like, oh, so you are actually racist, like, or something. I don't know,
the
but
you know, we remove, a storm of wrenches in the chat goes, we removed shame from our society. When it came back, it was fake. And that's a good point too. I mean, you know, like, honestly, I think for me personally, because like I said, there were things that, there were things like 10 years ago that you could, you know, say that you can't say today because of like political correctness. But there are also, there's also the vice versa. There are things that you can, that are celebrated today that would get,
would never, yeah, you would never catch people celebrating 10, 15 years ago, and to extrapolate on a Storm of Wrench's point about shame, like, I heard this, like, I don't know what you'd call it, but like, I guess like a quote more or less from somebody. I can't remember who it was from, but it was recently, and they pointed out that, holy fuck, dude, you know what it was? God damn it, I can't believe I'm bringing him up again. I rewatched one of the Sam Harrison Jordan Peterson debates, or re-listened to it recently, like within the last 2 weeks. For some reason, I just felt like listening to it because I hadn't listened to it in fucking years. And in that, Jordan makes um, the point that, because Sam's like, do you not agree that humanity would be better without any organized religion? And you know, Peterson emphatically says, absolutely no, not at all. Sam's like, Harris is like, really? Well, explain. And Jordan Peterson goes back over the history of great civilizations, from the Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Mesopotamians, the Aztecs. They every one of them fell shortly after they lost whatever religion they were practicing. Whatever god they had died. After whatever god they had died, their society did as well.
yeah,
Um, you know what I mean? And it's actually, it was kind of one of those, whoa, shit, that's actually true. So maybe not maybe the Christian God, you could argue, is just a conglomeration of other things throughout history. But that's not the point. It's the idea of believing, it seems to be anyway, the idea of believing in something, and the idea that something else is greater than you. That's really what it boils down to, is that something is greater than you and is ultimately a judger, in judgment of you. So therefore births shame. So when you don't think anyone is watching, why would you even conceive of shame? Especially when you've never thought of it in your life. Your stupid fucking parents have been convinced that atheism is the answer and God isn't real and everything is just fucking blue. It's just it's ethereal, and it is what the fuck it is. You know, they've grown their kids up thinking you can be whatever you want, Timmy or Susie. You could be whatever you want. You do what makes you happy. Here, you want this, can't you want this, you want that, let me fucking give you whatever you want. So then that little thing grows into a semi-grown adult, and they have no fucking idea They have no fucking idea what's right. They have social interactions with people, but how fucked up are these other kids that have the same parents that they do, that are
Well,
telling their kids that everything they do is right? You know, I
well,
mean, I
and
don't know, man.
and I mean, not to validate Owen, but and like,
So don't.
and this even goes, you know what? Fuck this. This goes beyond Owen. But you bring up that point of don't validate these kids, and here I am thinking, here's the thing with the trans kids thing, right? It used to be, right? Kids would say, like, little kids would say shit because they can. Like, for example, if a boy says something like, you know, oh, I feel like a girl or something like that. That's like, well, no, you're not. You're a boy, or vice versa, right? Like that was a pretty common thing.
Yeah,
And
and if that kid was resilient enough in their belief, they didn't give a fuck what anybody else said. Because even my old ass has encountered both boys and girls. Not many, but in my school, in my schooling days, at least as far back as middle school, there were fucking there was an ardent lesbian that wanted to play football and was made fun of every fucking day and picked on all the time, but she didn't give a fuck. She had friends that liked her a lot, but kids picked on her because they knew she was different, but she didn't give a fuck.
but
I watched her punch a dude in the face in 8th grade. It's one of the first times it was one of the first times I ever saw like a real fight, and it was a girl beating the fuck out of a dude. It was awesome.
well, also, I mean, you're from Texas, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
but
She was bigger than him too.
my overall point is that, right, like, we used to actually enforce, like, if you were born a dude, you're a dude. If you were born a chick, you're a chick, right? You might be a gay guy, or you might be a lesbian, but you're one of the two. Now we have
Yeah, yeah.
now we have these fucking left wingers out there who are like, oh, little Timmy says he's a girl. He's not being silly at all. No, in fact, we should give him hormone blockers, and and
You know,
actually,
I'm actually curious how prevalent that is, Sam. To be honest with you, like
you
how often is that actually happening
I
right now?
mean, I think it's overblown, to be honest. I will say that,
Yeah,
but I am using that as like an example of of the extreme. So,
of
um,
course.
you know,
But just like it's just like anything, though, man. Like that's one of the things that I've been forced to think about is the things that I've been consuming as far as like the news media and just the news in general and where it comes from. And because everybody has a fucking, it's so hard to find the actual truth now because everybody has a fucking agenda. Everyone that has the take and the reach to get you that take, they have a point to prove, or they have something to sell, or they have an angle to push, and it's not always easy finding it. And I've been duped so many fucking times by things on by research on the internet where I'm like, this is rock solid. And all it takes is one person to be like, you fucking idiot. That's not, look, look over here. You've been looking all over here and they've been leading you over here. But that's all bullshit leading on, based on bullshit. I can't think of any actual examples. But the point is that I'm trying to make is people don't know what the fuck's going on. So people are going way more by instinct nowadays, I've noticed, than they are by anything. And the people that can, stomach the actual research and digging through the nonsense on the internet, which in a lot of cases it's really not that hard, but in some cases it's really fucking hard. Again, like China, it's like it's kind of absurd, because it seems like there's anti-China propaganda, even though there doesn't seem to need to be. Like, because China, they literally do it themselves. Like, why is there people anyway? But fuck, man, I don't know. I was doing good tonight, keeping my point while fumbling around, but I lost that one.
No, no. I mean, I completely get where you're coming from. I also think though, too, like, I mean, look, I try to be honest about my bias as often as I can. That I'm a, that I'm like a more conservative voice. I'm liberal on some things, but like for the most part, I'm pretty, conservative. Um, you know, with that being said, I try as often as I can to have a rational discussion with people who I may disagree with. Um, I mean, the problem is though is very few people seem to want to even have a discussion. They just want to scream. They just want to scream in your face rather than have a discussion. Which brings me back to the whole story that I shared at the beginning of the program. That's kind of my overall point is I think a lot of this stuff could be solved if we just had, discourse with each other. But we can't even have that anymore with the way things are going.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a good point that has been made to me lately, most prominently by some members of the DZ, and it's been a while since they've said it, but it's been said a lot on the internet. And as far as voices on the internet, there's very few that I actually care about, and they almost all reside in one Discord. So, but regardless,
We're the
the idea
best.
that, and it's not even in the idea, it's the fact that when I was a kid, people didn't talk politics and they didn't talk religion, even though they went to church together, or they were of the same political party, or they supported the same president. And when they did, the few times in my memory that they did, it devolved into fucking chaos every fucking time. The three times literally off the top of my head, the three times, and I don't even remember them specifically being political. I just remember it was all Bush related. They were all during the Bush era, Bush Jr. But regardless, like, it's just politics and religion is just not polite to talk about with people. And I mean, if someone wants to talk to you about it, that's fine. But that person's kind of an asshole for wanting to bring it up. And you're not rude for saying, I don't care to disclose that with you because those are my personal opinions and I don't want to share them and I don't have to. But that therein lies the secret racist bullshit, the secret KKK, the secret Nazis. Because if you don't outright say Black Lives Matter and you'd rather say, I don't want to answer your question, then you're racist.
Right.
Because whether you answer, I don't want to answer your question, or you say all lives matter because Black lives are part of all lives. That doesn't discount anything negative that's happened to anybody of any color, including Black people. That's just a fact that all lives matter. And if you're a young white single mother, then you're going to get shot to death, as has happened,
Well,
or beat to death. I don't remember which one.
the thing that I've gotten in so much trouble for asking, like on, again, talking to my old classmates from high school, whenever they bring up like, whenever they say Black Lives Matter or something, I always ask them, I'm like, well, who actually says that they don't publicly?
Right,
Because
exactly.
because
Oh, but that's the thing.
if
It's because it's the secret. They're all secret racists. You
if
gotta, you gotta weed them out by getting them to say Black Lives Matter or not. And if they don't, they're the ones. They're the ones, man.
right, but then again, if you say all lives matter, then you're still a secret racist, right?
Oh no,
Because
then you're the outright racist.
yeah, so it,
Bat
it's
shit.
it's fucking crazy, man. You can't win. I mean, I so one of the whole reasons why I even got involved in politics, to be honest, I mean, part of it was because when I was in school, I was good at like history and like and like civics and current events, but that's not what motivated me to actually start a show and speak out when I was 14. What motivated me was the fact that when I was in school, my my friends and I would all sit around the lunch table and basically like roast each other and make fun of each other, and like you know and call each other names and call each other jerk off, and like other names like that, and like my friends used to call me like a lazy cripple because I was like the only guy in a wheelchair, and I would call like my friend like a lazy stoner because he kind of was, and he never studied. And I remember like one time, I said, well, yeah, I mean, I someone was like, hey, you weren't paying close attention in class, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm a lazy cripple, what can I say? And this like this, I guess you would call them social justice warrior type now. We didn't even know what that term was back then, but I guess now this person would be called a social justice warrior. Comes over to my table and is like, "Oh, Sam, you shouldn't have despaired yourself by calling yourself a cripple. That's like, you're hurting yourself by saying that." And it was kind of like, what? No, I'm just I'm just you know messing around with my friends. We're just joking. We're just joking around with
that
each other.
that that personifies that failed joke that I made last week on Versa when I called you a Mexican in the eyes of the Democrats. Because effectively, what I was saying is because you're quote unquote crippled, handicapped, in a wheelchair, handicapable, whatever you want to call it, they view you as less than, and they view you as needing their help,
I
whether you need it or not.
and I
They want to force it upon you as they do on the minorities of
right,
all kinds. Black people are lesser than they are in their minds, so they need their help. And they don't understand that that's fucking racist. That's what actual racism is. You know what I mean?
right, um, right, and I mean when you made that joke about me being a Mexican, I fucking laughed my ass off because I got your point. I got that that's exactly what you were saying.
Oh,
And
dude, apparently nobody else did. Um,
well, I have a dark sense. Like I really
you have a gamma sense of humor. You just got what I was fucking drunkenly trying to
Yeah,
get at.
well, I
That's
mean,
all.
you know who one of my favorite stand-up comedians is, right? I think I've told you this.
Surely.
Louis C.K. is probably if not my favorite stand-up comedian, one of my all-time favorites. And Louis has this great bit where he opens a show. It's in one of his specials, from like 2 or 3 years before he got in trouble. Right, this was like right before he got in trouble. He did a special where he opens up and he comes up on stage and he starts off this act in like a very effeminate uh gay voice, and he's like this is what I talk like now. It's very, and he's talking like with a lisp and whatnot. He's like, it's a very offensive stereotype, and then he pauses, of a Mexican at the border, when that's not what it is at all. He's doing a stereotypical gay guy voice, but he calls it the Mexican because he wants to just mess with people's expectations for the joke. And I mean, I felt like that's kind of what you were. That's what you were doing too, by calling me.
Well, I was just drunk and failed the punchline because but I appreciate that, Sam.
You may have failed your intended punchline, but you landed it in other ways too, because
I thought so, man. But my stupid liberal friend who was in the chat was like, "Dude, that was the cringiest thing ever." And then you're like, "Oh, I'm so drunk. Thanks for letting me on the show, man. It was so embarrassing." I'm like, oh man, got me second guessing myself. Maybe I should never go on the internet again. You liberal idiot.
No, listen, you're. I've actually done this show drunk a couple of times, and it's
no.
You might not have been here, but I was.
I was. You were half naked, most.
I was shirtless for one of them, but in another drinking stream, it's still up on my channel. Probably you can still find it. It was when Brett Kavanaugh got confirmed right after the whole Christine. So, and I did that. So basically, I went out and got like a 24 pack of Miller High Lives and I drank them all on stream, like 12 of them or something, because because there was the whole thing about with Christine Blasey Ford was saying that he that but Kavanaugh spiked my beer or something like that, which wasn't true. And so one of the congressmen was like, "Do you drink beer, Mr. Kavanaugh?" And he's like, "It's like, I don't know an American that doesn't like beer." So when he got nominated, I did a stream called "Beers Out for Kavanaugh," and it was.
I remember. I wasn't around for that.
Oh, it's a hilarious stream. One of the best ones I've done. I think to this day still. That was back when I was still friendly with Owen somewhat. But
holy shit, Sam! I have 3%. Oh shit! I have 2% battery on my phone. I might lose you, buddy.
Oh, okay.
I gotta work. What time is it? It is 1 a.m. What's today? What day is it?
Sunday.
It's Sunday. Yes. So, all right. I got 6.5 hours. No, 5.5 hours. So I should probably go to bed anyway.
Yeah, it's getting late. It's almost 2 a.m. here, and we only have we have 7 people watching, but still, we're just battling at this point, folks. So
you can do your thing, man. I'm just saying my shit's gonna die, and my charger is really far away.
Yeah.
And the real problem is if I go and plug my phone in, I will not have. You won't hear me.
Yeah.
I'll lose all service because it's in the basement.
Well,
so, But it's been, dude. It's been awesome as always, dude. I really appreciate having me on the show. As I always do.
It's been great having you on the show as well, man. Thanks for coming on. Love having you.
Yeah, for sure. You chat, you fuckers be good, but not too good. Sammy, God save this great nation and whatever else you say.
God,
I love you,
freedom,
buddy.
legacy in that order. Shout out to Mr.
There you
John
go.
Neary, who I need to get back on the show. So
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you fucking do. All right. Love you guys. Y'all be safe. God bless America.
alrighty, folks, I'm still here. But yeah, it's always fun having Apex Gamma on here. So yeah. GFL as Raybo Dynamite says, and Ray, I've seen you. I know who you are, but I don't. I know that you're. I know that you were in Neri's chat, but like, are you one of Neri's like actual IRL friends, or you know, like because I know that John's IRL friends would pop up in my stream chat too from time to time, but yeah. No, John's good. No, John's good people. I mean, I've he's I won't speak for Johnny because I know that Johnny fought with Nimmer for more reasons than just you know Near Eye, but for me it was the whole Nimmer versus Near roast, that started that got my Nimmer / Owen beef started. Yeah. Yeah, we're conservative. We're conservative, and we think that the race card is BS. Except when the black guy, except when the white guy who acts black and is married to an actual African woman, roasts, the opening, hat comedian. Then we're gonna call him racist. So, yeah, but yeah, Nearai's the one who should have a comedy career over Owen, and I know John's gonna come on here and be all modest, but I'm telling you, Johnny, you do deserve a comedy career, indeed, my friend. Well, folks, it's 2 a.m. here. On the East Coast. And I think we just hit the 3-hour mark, according to YouTube and according to Streamlabs. Let me see. According to Streamlabs here, we have been on for close to, I think, 3 hours here as well. So I think that will do it. Because I do need this podcast to be like small enough file size wise that it can process properly and I can actually upload as an audio podcast. And plus, I do have to, go here since it is getting late. So thanks to everyone who tuned in and supported tonight's show. I'm sorry for the late start, but I think we've made up for it. From all us here at NGC Studios, thanks for joining us. And as my friend Mr. John Near I would say, God, freedom, legacy in that order. And, God save this great nation and God bless America. And I will see you guys on the next stream. Speaking of the DZ, I'm going to have Josh Rogers here on the podcast to talk about Antifa later in the week, either on Monday or Tuesday. So feel free to tune in for that when we announce that. And then otherwise, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. God bless and good night, guys, and thanks for coming. I'll see you on the next episode of the Whitfield Report. Until then, God bless America and God save this great nation.